Pakistan.
I have a question regarding animation. I watched your video previously, which you said that animating anything is haram. But my question is regarding educational videos on YouTube. So we have to animate, like if we're describing an animal, we have to animate that animal, or if we're describing anything regarding human biology, we have to animate the human body, or we have to animate a human teacher to teach the children in the video, just like the advertisements I saw before your show started, like 10 minutes ago.
Okay.
So is that haram, or if you can clarify in what the specific conditions it's halal to animate something?
Ahmed from Pakistan says, what is the ruling on animation? See, animation, and correct me if I'm wrong, is drawing. And drawing is permissible unless it involves life. And by life, we mean the spirit, the soul. So drawing a human being, drawing animals, drawing what people would look at and say that this has life in it. This is haram. So what about using it for educational purposes? Scholars differed. Some remained on saying it is haram, specifically for those who do the actual drawing. The Prophet said in many authentic hadiths that the most severely punished on the Day of Judgment are those who draw live pictures of humans or animals or fish or birds, etc. And they will be tormented on the Day of Judgment by these characters that they had created. So doing this is sinful. Other group of scholars said that if it's permissible for children to play with dolls, this means that creating such cartoons for children to watch and learn and to be entertained by is permissible. And this is their opinion. Now, I'm inclined to the first opinion, which says that's totally haram. However, if you draw a human being without facial features, and this drawing is 2D, not 3D. A 3D is a stat.
Oh boy. Peace of the Lord to all of you. I hope my voice coming good and clear to you. Please invite friends, your friends, and please, if you listen, there's a huge difference between 2D and 3D. If you do it 2D and there's no face, so listen, you can, what about, let me give you an idea. We can make a cartoon of a dog, but there's no face of a dog. There's no face. No face. Haram. Haram. Just the ass. And we don't make it 3D, 2D. Okay? Maybe that will work. However, I agree with the Prophet that we have to haram. It's haram. It's forbidden. You will go to hell. You will go to hell, brother. You know? But this idiot, he is sitting in front of a camera. He himself is sitting in front of a camera. So, if making images of something alive is forbidden, aren't you yourself sitting in front of a video camera and you are posting it in YouTube and making money from it? And you charge people $100 for 30 minutes? Private consultation. And what D will make a difference? In the time of Muhammad, there was 2D and 3D. He said there is no images. So what the Muhammadan they try to do to get away with the stupidity of this garbage cult, savage, stupid cult, and they try to find a solution. A second ago he said, let me play from the beginning for those who have a short memory. Don't forget to invite your friends, and if you are a Muslim, please join us. We will open our Skype very soon. Potato cult.
I watched your video previously, which you said that animating anything is haram. But my question is regarding educational videos on YouTube. So we have to animate, like if we're describing an animal, we have to animate that animal, or if we're describing anything regarding human biology, we have to animate the human body, or we have to animate a human teacher to teach the children in the video, just like the advertisements I saw before your show started like 10 minutes ago.
Okay.
So is that haram, or if you can clarify in what specific conditions it's halal to animate something?
Ahmed from Pakistan says, what is the ruling on animation? See, animation, and correct me if I'm wrong, is drawing. And drawing is permissible unless it involves life. And by life, we mean the spirit, the soul. So drawing a human being, drawing animals, drawing what people would look at and say that this has life in it. This is haram. So what about using it for educational purposes? Scholars differed. Some remained on saying it is haram, specifically for those who do the actual drawing. The Prophet said, in many authentic hadiths, that the most severely punished on the Day of Judgment are those who draw live pictures of humans or animals. Or
Notice he said the most severely punished. Most. Raping Jewish girls, this is not, there's no punishment. This is a reward, this is a good thing. Beating your wife, this is right in Islam. You can beat your wife, chapter 4, verse number 34. Raping Jewish women, kidnapping them, killing them, taking their money, chapter 9, verse 29. Marrying a child, she is 5 years old, 2 years old, it's okay, there's no punishment. Even having sex with your mother, by the way, there's no penalty in Islam for it. But if you draw a picture of a cat, you will receive the most severe punishment. What is the crime? You draw a cat. Like, you did not draw the cat to worship the cat, or no, it's just, fun, making cartoon for kids. Haram. Haram, brother. And then you will find always that the Muslims, when you ask them a question, they will say to you, the scholars, they differ in this issue. This religion is so clear to the point, they agree about not to agree about anything. Go check every Muslim video YouTube. You will find every one of them, he says something different. For the same question. Every one of them, he have different answer. Depend who is the customers. So the one who is his customers are Western blonde people trying to convert them to Islam, they will say, yeah, it's okay, no problem, yeah, sure, it's okay, Depend who is the customer. Islam is a business for sale. This is why this guy, before he starts his video, you will see he's asking people to pay him for 30 minutes $100. Private consultation. It's a big business. This guy, he make way more money than any doctor in the world. To tell you what? To tell you this garbage. That cartoon will take you to hell. Find me one Islamic TV station, including Hamas. They don't have cartoon. I mean, those people are really stupid. Can you find me one Islamic country don't have, actually, if you go right now, open search for Egyptian movie, Pakistan movie, even Taliban. Everything in Islam, they say it is forbidden, they do. Music, singing, dancing, women belly dancing, wearing nothing, unbelievable. But remember, drawing a picture of a cat will take you to hell. Continue, shake.
Fish or birds, etc. And they will be tormented.
By the way, why there is no too many, not too many? Shall I close soon? Why we have 742? What happened? Wrong timing? I will stay more 20 minutes. If we don't have 1,000 at least, I will go.
On the day of judgment by these characters that they had created. So doing this is sinful. Other group of scholars said that if it's permissible for children to play with dolls, this means that creating such cartoons for children to watch and learn and to be entertained.
Do you notice he says it is permissible for children to play with dolls? Do you know why it is? Just because Aisha, the wife of the Prophet, she was a baby child and she had dolls in the house of the Prophet and she was playing with it. The Prophet wife, the wife, she is a baby child playing with her dolls. And that was the reason, because Islam is just a chain of contradiction. How you say you cannot make something look like a human being or an animal or anything in life? Not only drawing, dolls is haram, forbidden. But then they find that Muhammad, who forbade all those things, Muhammad even he ripped the curtains. He told Aisha, you cannot put those pictures in the curtains, you cannot put pictures on the pillow. So which one is more horrible? Having dolls, which is the 3Ds. Remember, he just said, you cannot have 3Ds. Well, the dolls are 4Ds, not only 3Ds. If we go let us see if we can find the hadith. Let us see this hadith. The wife of the Prophet, the mother of the believers, the 5-year-old girl, which is 6 according to Islam, because Muslims they use weird wrong calendar. I was playing with dolls. And by the way, the hadith doesn't say dolls. This is a translation, which is accurate, but it's not correct. It's accurate as a meaning, because Aisha is saying, I was playing with the girls. So Aisha, she have the mentality of a child, talking about her dolls as girls. كنت ألعب بالبنات. You see it in black? I was playing with my girls. So now she is the wife of the Prophet. And her brain is in the state of maturity for sure. Calling her dolls my daughters, my girls. This is the wife of Muhammad herself. And all those hadith are accurate, sahih. Here, by the way, it shows you that even the friends of Aisha, they are little girls too. When they see Muhammad, they run and they hide. So not only Aisha, she is playing with the dolls, which she called them her daughters. Even the friends of Aisha, they are so little, to the point when they see somebody come into the room, they run and they hide because they are so shy. I used to play with the dolls in the presence of the prophet. Look, he's a prophet. I mean, we have to be honest here. The guy, he was sent for a serious mission by Allah. Very serious. He will change the world to the world of terrorism. So I used to play with the dolls in the presence of the prophet. And my girlfriend also used to play with me. So her girlfriends are the same age, you know. When Allah messengers used to enter her room, they used to hide themselves. But the prophet would call them like, come on, come here, where are you? Come here, okay, come here. Come from under the bed. Come on here, come on, you know. And call them to join and play with me. This is the husband, and this is the wife. Muhammad, he have no problem to have little girl in his bed, and he is, excuse my language, effing her. But he have a problem with drawing a picture. Haram. It's haram. This is the garbage of Muhammad. Eating pork, haram. Brother, haram. A'udhu billah, a'udhu billah. Having sex with a child is okay. Having a picture, haram. Asim. What's your name? Aslam. As long as we are talking about dolls, and you are saying to me, so what? This is not my question. My question is, how images is forbidden and dolls is not? Because the image is reason to forbid it is because you are trying to create something, present something alive, have soul. Those dolls are girls. They present a human being. So your prophet is a hypocrite. Number two, if having pictures or anything like to make a body of something living being is forbidden in Islam, why the doll is okay? Because Muhammad's wife, she is playing. And how in the world this man, he justify having a child as a wife, but he see that a huge sin, big sin, if you draw an image of a rabbit. We heard the Sheikh saying that Muhammad said the most severe punishment is to the person who draw an image. And as long as we are talking about dolls, how come it's not haram for a Muslim woman to use sex dolls? Isn't sex dolls represent something alive? So when the fatwa says that a Muslim woman, she can use a detached penis of a donkey or an animal or a dead man, and it is halal, or she make a penis of leather or anything in the shape of a penis. Remember, you are the one who mentioned the word doll for me. You remind me now. And if you do there, call me. So this religion making a picture of a rabbit is haram, will take you to hell. But the woman, she cutting the penis of a donkey and she using it for her. I mean, how in the world she do it? It says there, detached penis of a dead animal or a human. So what you will notice about this cult, if we can call it even a cult, that it's the most awkward sexual, stupid. Muhammad, he's trying to be conservative, so he learned from the Jews that the Jews, they forbid the statues, etc. So Muhammad trying to copy the Jews. But because this guy's an idiot, he copied everything wrong. And if you are a man who can prove you wrong, I will open my Skype so you can call me. Anything we say here, we prove it. We don't say things here just for saying things. We are not the same as Muslims. Two Muslims, they open their program, their chat. Brother, the Bible is corrupt, brother. Yes, brother. The Christian, they have many Bible. We have many translation. We don't have many Bible. It's you who have many Quran. Which Quran you read? In fact, you have zero Quran. Who ate my Quran? The goat. You know, I find it funny that people are texting me in Skype. They want to teach me what to say about Islam. Are you serious? Like here, we have a brother here is texting me. He says, CP, without saying the name. Oh, no, he is not teaching me, sorry. Because usually I see some text, this is asking me a question. My friend, you can ask in the chat. Don't ask me in the I thought he is teaching me. That would be hilarious. I mean, at some time you get those messages saying to you, CP, if a Muslim says this to him. All right, that's a good one. So the question is, as long as he sent it, CP, what would you say if a Muslim says 65:4 cannot be talking about little girls because it says women? Nisa'akum. So he's saying that the Muslim, when you show them chapter 65, verse number 4, it's about divorcing children. They say, no, it says women. Well, for them, Nisa'akum, present your wives. As you see, Muhammad's wife, she is 6 years old, and she is Nisa. So in Islam, the word Nisa present the gender, even though in language it should not just present the gender. But if Muhammad himself, he married a child, she is 6 years old, so you should tell them, isn't it Aisha, she was Nisa too? And she was 6 years old. And the verse is so clear, it says, those who never have their period because they are so young. Anyway, Muslims always try to get away with things, but not with us. If you are a Mohammedan, you would like to join us, please feel free. And if you are a Christian, please don't text me in Skype. And Muslims, they have tons of TV stations. None of them speak about something useful. What is the benefit of this program? What is the benefit? If there is any benefit, there is no benefit. A frog. Do you want to hear what Islam says about a frog? Islam involved in everything is stupid. People, they arrive to Mars, and the Muslims, they are busy with drawing a rabbit. Tell us about the frog, brother.
What about other amphibious animals, such as frogs, for example? Well, frogs is not an issue of being a sea creature or an amphibious creature. There is a specific ruling for that, because the Prophet
specific ruling
prohibited their killing.
Okay, why?
Whatever the Prophet ﷺ prohibits killing, then it becomes haram to eat and consume.
Why?
A man came to the Prophet ﷺ,
yeah,
and he was a doctor.
Really?
So he said, "O Prophet of Allah, we use frog meat in our medication." So the Prophet denied him and prohibited him from killing frogs.
Listen to the wisdom now. Why?
And in another narration, the Prophet ﷺ said that, I don't know what you call the sound of frogs, but the sound of the frogs is tasbih. It's praising Allah Azza wa Jal. It's glorifying Allah Azza wa Jal. So the Prophet prohibited killing it, alayhi salatu wassalam.
Guys, the Prophet forbid killing the frog because the frog prayed to Allah. Why the frog should not be killed?
What about other?
Like, you know, the Muslim, by the way, they make articles fooling people, give them false reasoning. As an example, they will say to you, do you know that the Prophet, he said, when you sneeze, put your hand over your mouth? When we have Corona, we have this guy, Sabila Ahmed, the coward. Brothers and sisters, the Prophet is the first one who taught us how to fight Corona. Like, what the heck? He said, when you sneeze, put your hand, you know, but he will not read the rest. Mohammed, he said, because when you sneeze, when you do yawning, shaitan jump in your mouth. So it was not for Corona and not for diseases. They will not read the second part for you. And now if you are a hippie, let us say you are from those who color their hair blue, red, you have ring in your nose, which is weird, look like a cow. You have ring in your belly button, ring in your penis, ring in your vagina, you have ring everywhere. I don't know how you can go through the airport. And now they look at you, they want to convert you to Islam. So what they will say to you, Prophet, you love animals. Yes, Prophet. Do you know that the Prophet forbid killing frogs? Really? He is so sensitive for blood and killing. He'd hate it. He loved animals. He knew how much important frogs are for society. A scientific study by a scientist from Japan, his name Yama Yama, Suzuki, Toyota, Honda. Very well known. Check his name. Big professor. He said that the reason we have control over environment in the world of mosquitoes is Mrs. Frog. So brother, imagine how the Prophet of Allah, he knew this 1400 years ago. How he knew. So now the Prophet, he discovered that the frog, when they make the voice of a frog, wow, 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 wow. Once there was a frog in my window, I get out here, he run away. I mean, I can't sleep. This guy just on the edge of my window. I go back to bed, he go there. So I went outside, I said, please, for the sake of the sin of Allah, go pray to Allah in a different place, man. I mean, this frog, he decided to come to my window, keep saying Allah, Allah, Allah. If there is anyone here, he have a brain from those Muhammadan who question really what Muhammad say, who dare to question? So now the frog, Mr. Frog, he is worshipping Allah. Who in the world will believe in such a garbage? But I think it's time to do a scientific study. Shall we? Hold on, I just heard Allah. Unbelievable. This guy is saying Muhammad. Oh, this guy, he is saying the whole chapter of a cow chapter. What the heck is that? All of this? Thank God you are not my neighbor. I mean, this guy, he have a very weird voice. So the frog is praising Allah. Where you Muslims get your knowledge from? Well, from Prophet Muhammad. That's it. But the doctor, he said, okay, we need it for medicine. Which one is more important? Okay, what about the rooster? Isn't it your prophet, he says, when you hear the rooster, that because he is praising God and he saw an angel? So why you eat roosters? A Muslim saying to me, talking donkey in the Bible, that's a good one, my friend. In fact, in the Bible, it doesn't say that the donkey is talking, but I can show you the hadith of your prophet speaking to his donkey. In the Bible, it says that the sound, the man he was walking, and God want to warn him, the angel want to warn this man. He heard a sound, so God made a sound come from the mouth of the donkey. The donkey is not talking. But in your prophet's story, your prophet, he have a conversation with the donkey. His name is Ya'fur. And he said to him, and I quote, "Do you like female, Ya'fur?" The donkey respond to, is a Muslim donkey, "Oh, oh, oh, I don't like females." Have you ever heard of a donkey he is a gay? Call me and I will show you. Actually, I made a cartoon about it. The donkey of a prophet of Allah, Ya'fur. Even when your prophet, for the first time, he is speaking to an animal, what is the question? Is about his penis. I mean, why in the world a human being, look, I will be happy to talk to animals, to be able to communicate with, that would be amazing, to understand what animals are saying. That would be very beyond amazing. So now Muhammad, he was able to talk to his donkey, and the first question and the only question he asked him, if he liked females. I mean, what come to his head? He think that donkeys don't like females, and how in the world that this donkey made by Allah for 60 prophets, and he is the last donkey of the family, and he is the one who don't like females. For the brother who is saying about Indonesia, talking crap about etc. My friend, I saw your text. What they will say? What I will say? Indonesia? Is it the same garbage everywhere? Like, is it different in Indonesia? Go challenge the Muslim sheikhs in Indonesia to come and debate me. Don't flood the text. Those Muslim sheikhs in Indonesia, they cannot even say the name of their prophet correctly, and they make a lot of money from it. It's a business. So the frog, he is praying to Allah.
Other amphibious animals, such as frogs, for example. Well, frogs is not an issue of being a sea creature or an amphibious creature. There is a specific ruling for that, because the Prophet ﷺ prohibited their killing, and whatever the Prophet ﷺ prohibits killing, then it becomes haram to eat and consume.
That's it.
Amen.
Lucky you, frog, lucky you. I mean, when you have an edict like this, it's your luck. So now the frog is saved from the hand of every Abdul in the world. Muhammad, he made a statement, that's it. Frogs are safe. Just one sentence. That's it. Muhammad says so. Who dare to touch the frog? Do you? But if you go to Indonesia, you will find a lot of Muslims eating frogs. Just go watch in the videos. You will see Muslims buying frogs, selling frogs. Big ones. And they call them banana. Orang. Which means like orang means like a lot, you know. Tasty, you know. Orang. As you know, I speak Indonesian. You know, I never been in Indonesia, by the way, but I watched a 3-minute video of Indonesian people talking, and I noticed that you repeat the word twice. That will make it like something like special. So like now I say, this sheikh is donkey donkey. In Indonesia, that will make it like smart, you know. So if you say it once, it means donkey. If you say it twice, that means he's a donkey smart, like smart, you know, like extra. So tell us, okay, what happened?
Came to the Prophet ﷺ, and he was a doctor. So he said, "O Prophet of Allah, we use frog meat in our medication." So the Prophet denied him and prohibited him from killing frogs. And in another narration, the Prophet ﷺ said that, I don't know what you call the sound of frogs.
What you call it? What do you call it?
But the sound of
Joe Biden
is tasbih. It's praising Allah Azza wa Jalla.
Praising Allah.
Glorifying Allah Azza wa Jalla.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious. Who can deny this? Let us be honest. Nobody. Muslims, they have a specialties with animals. Another story.
Aisha says,
Aisha,
can you please explain the hadith about why we should kill the house lizard? First of all, the house lizard, I think they call it salamander or something like that. I'm not sure. The house lizard is an insect.
is an insect.
An insect that is...
I'm telling you, if you want to learn science, the best place to learn science is Muslims and Islam. The house lizard is an insect. If they say to you, somewhere, somehow, some school, some stupid professor, it is not an insect, tell him to shut up, because the Prophet Muhammad, police be upon him, identify it as an insect. And there's many proof of that. As an example, me myself, I went to Mexico and I met with a lizard. I asked him, what's your name? He said, Señor Insecto. How you explain to me that? The first lizard I met in Mexico, like I met one in Arizona. It was a female. I asked her, what's your name? But for me, I do not know if she's a female or not, because, you know, they are naked, but you couldn't see their private part. It's, you know, hiding. It's hard to see. Not for me. So I asked this lizard. It turned to be a female. So I asked her, what's your name? She said, Insecta. Like, what the heck? So I go to Mexico, I met a lizard, and his name is Insecto. I go to Arizona, I met a lizard, his name is Insecta. How do you explain that to me? And then I asked like the very serious question, what's wrong with them? And then they explain. I mean, why they are Insecto, Insecta? I mean, this is the only name. They said that they had a prophet for the lizard. His name is Insect. And since then, all the lizard, they call their children's Insecto or Insecta based on their gender. Like Muslims, you know, they call Muhammad, Muhammad, Ahmed, Muhammad. Everybody is Muhammad. How the prophet knew this? We have to be careful that there must be a divine source of information. There's somebody saying, I am a Catholic and I respect Palestine. My friend, you are not a Catholic, you are a piece of shit and you are a liar. In case you do not know, the Catholic is the one who did the crusade, and they taught Muhammad and his mujahideen how to behave. So don't play different game here. I'm a Catholic. Yeah, you are a frog who worship Allah. Don't play the game here with us. We laugh at you. Same time, those are not Palestinian. Those are Arab. Go ask them, are you an Arab? They will say yes. Since when the Arab are the Palestinians? So why you call them Palestinian if they are Arab? Are you stupid? Yes, you are. You do not know the difference between Palestinian and Arab? Go check history, you idiot. Potato, tomato, we fry you here. Portugal with me. Against who? Macy's? Welcome from Portugal, my friend. God bless you. Yeah, you know, they try to divide us, by the way. The game of a Protestant and Orthodox is just to divide you. And I know there's some Christians, supposedly they are Christians, but they are dummy. They fuel the division without mentioning names. Don't be stupid. Any division between us is for the benefit of the followers of Hamas. They use you until they conquer the enemy, and then they will conquer you next. Hamas is the one who came all the way and they took Europe before. The same organization, nothing new. The same one, the Catholic, they kicked them out from Spain. We are not stupid. Different name doesn't make you different people, doesn't make you different religion. When you occupy Spain, and the Catholic in Spain wipe the floor with you, and they clean the earth from your dirt. They took their land. And guess what? The Muslim, they claim that Spain is their land now. They take your land, they occupy your land, they rape your women, they change the name of the country, they change the language, they change the culture, they change the religion, and then they claim that this is their land. This is the truth. Turkey is not Turkey. This is the land of Greece, Armenia, Syria, and Kurdish. 0 centimeter of it belong to so-called Turkish. 0. Istanbul is not Istanbul. They took the city, they took the churches, they took the whole thing. They killed all the men, they raped the women, and now everybody is blonde. And they changed the name of the city. And they claim now this is their land. And they make speeches about colonism. They make speeches about colony. The West is a colonizing and disgusting, and Israel is taking the land of other people when it is the opposite. It's them who took the land of everybody. This is reality, my friend. And here we fry you. You can't lie to those stupid Western, to those liberals. I am from there. Don't you know I am an Arab, you idiot? We have all your laundry. I have all your laundry. You took the land of the Jews, and now you want to kill the Jews, and you claim that they are occupying your land. When you're stupid Quran, in the stupid Quran, in the yellow page of Muhammad saying that this is the land of the Jews, chapter 5, verse number 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. In fact, in the stupid Quran, when the Jews refused to kill the ones who was living there, Allah, He punished them and He made them severely lose their way in the desert for 40 years. In your stupid Quran. And you know, you notice that all those people who debate Muslims, in many shows, nobody mentioned this. This is why the Muslims, they accept to debate those people, because they are ignorant. Like they bring Mimi Hijab and a rabbi who say, do you know what a rabbi says? He says, Islam is beautiful. This is how stupid this rabbi is. Muslims, they choose carefully who they will debate with. The stupid rabbi said, Islam, how are you going to debate the Muslim to show them how stupid, hypocrite? They brought a business hypocrite rabbi. Islam is beautiful, and he is the one who slaughtered your people in the city of Medina, which was Yathrib. Look at this is an example, by the way, about the colony of Muhammad. He come as an immigrant to the city of Yathrib, which is a Jewish city. The Jewish, they welcomed him because they were stupid. And later he slaughtered them all, and he took the city, and he changed the name of the city, changed the religion of the city. Facts. Anyone will attack the Catholic, I will put you under my shoe. Both of them, they have rosary. You are a stupid donkey. Don't you know that the rosary in the Bible, you donkey? Don't you know that the rosary, the angel, they say to her, Mary, blessed you, Mary? Those are fake. Those are Christians. Those are Muslims. Those are donkeys who they attack. So there's many donkeys, by the way. They attack Catholic and they attack Protestant, but they don't know even what Catholic believe and what Christian Protestant believe. Those are stupid who attack the rosary. The Catholic asking Mary to pray for them. What's wrong with that? Isn't you asking everybody pray for brother, pray for me? And the rosary, you idiot, it is in the Bible. It is the angels who say to Mary, bless you, Mary, between the women. Donkey. And the Muslims, they have rosary? Since when? Be aware of liars and fraud who try to divide you. Here, we don't have any place for division. All of you, the one who want to divide us is under our feet. And we are victorious by Jesus. Here we are united with the Messiah. And you are united with the devil. Any person who believe in Christ, the Messiah said, whoever believe in me and I will live. Don't listen to those people. They are working, serving the devil. They fight over nothing. They debate over nothing. For they are nothing. Focus with me in the topic. I don't want to see anyone saying I'm a Catholic or I'm Protestant. Otherwise, I will send you free shipping and hand it to Allah. Remember my rules. Here, there's no Catholic. There's no Protestant. There's no Orthodox. You like it, you stay. You don't like it, get out. Here, there's the Christians only. Take your devil and leave. Last warning. The Muslims actually, they enjoy seeing the stupid ones of you fighting. This is why they come with fake names and they spread division. And in 2 seconds, the fire is up because many donkeys, they claim to be Christians. Just tell them, I'm a Catholic, I'm Protestant, right away they are in different galaxy. You are the same as Muslims. Hateful. Disgusting. Following Muhammad actually. The Quran in chapter 5 verse number 14 says Allah will spread hatred and enmity between the Christians until the day of judgment. This is in the Quran. This is not me saying that. And whoever spread division between the Christians, he is serving the devil Allah. Idiots. You know what idiot mean? You think you are defending the faith? In fact, you are not. My friend, I saw your text about Uthman. I mean, come on, who cares what this guy say? That's it, we need to do, I'm talking about something. That's it, now you're stuck with Uthman, hadith number 5000, that's it. You will not turn the pump in the chat until I answer you? All the Christians are my brothers and sisters. Whoever believe in me, you know what me mean? Who is me? The Messiah. Not the Pope, not a priest, not a Protestant, not Orthodox. If you think you are saved because you belong to a church name, you are a donkey. certified one. And your tail is so long. You will be saved only if you follow the Messiah only. Men are corrupt. Men are sinners. Men are liars. So when you follow a priest, you are following a sinner, you idiot. How a sinner can save you? How his opinion matter? What matter is what Jesus said. Be careful. Be aware of false teachers. They will come to you in the clothes of sheep, but they are wolves. Never listen to me. Listen to what Jesus said. For me, myself, I'm a sinner. And only stupid people, they take what a sinner say over what God say. We go back to our topic. And I advise you not to join any channel. Doesn't matter if it's a Protestant or Catholic who divide us. Don't go there. They are just doing hatred. We are fighting the devil and they are busy dividing us so the Mohammedan can conquer you. As simple as that. It is the truth. Let us go back to Mr. Lizard. What's the problem with the lizard in Islam?
The house lizard. First of all, the house lizard, I think they call it salamander or something like that. I'm not sure. The house lizard is an insect that is harmful. Some of it cause a lot of diseases. And some say that it intends to walk over the food and the drinks and to poo, where it puts a lot of its illnesses and diseases in people's food. So in general, it is a dangerous...
Do you see how evil the lizard is? The lizard go to your kitchen. He see your dish. He spread his leg. He take off her panty. He unzip his thing and he get his penis. And then he start doing poo-poo over your food. And then the poor you come. You are a good Muslim who pray to Allah. You kill only Christians and Jews and Hindus and Buddhists. Only. And you marry children, which is halal. But you never eat pork. Good person like you. And now you are targeted inside your house by a terrorist who is a lizard. Can you believe it? Do you see that we Muslims are victims? Conspiracy against us. Did you notice that lizard, they will not poo or pee in dish of anyone he is a Hindu? Even though in India there's a lot of Hindus. And by the way, I discovered in India there's a lot of Indian too. Which is strange. How come this lizard come and do that only to Muslims? It's revenge, brother. It's hatred. They hate people who follow the Prophet of Allah. They hate it.
Creature that only brings harm to the people in general. And if you notice that anything that is harmful, Islam tells us to kill.
That's it.
So Islam tells us to kill a wild dog that bites and attacks people.
Liar.
It tells us
liar. Actually, tomorrow I'm going to post a video about those animals. Just wait. As you see the title here, actually present what I was going to, but the video is not ready. Tomorrow I will talk about your prophet. He command to kill all dogs, not the dogs who bite, you coward liar. To kill all dogs. I mean, do you see how they lie? The prophet commanded to kill Dogs who they are biting? Are you sure? Let me see if I can find a video made by him himself, and I'm sure there is. Those people, they forget, or they forgot what they say. They have a very short memory. Very short memory. This is the same guy. Remember, it says here, PayPal me, Asim Al-Hakim, $100 half hour. Do you see it? Very decent. It's a charity job. He's just helping people,
Samtullah.
Sheikh, is the pure black dog a devil? And is this the type of dog that nullifies our prayer? Jazakumullahu khairan.
The Prophet ﷺ in the beginning stated that three things interpret and breaks our prayer: the passing of a woman, an adult, and the passing of a donkey, and the passing of a dog.
How many Muslim ladies here? Just to let you know, I will put a sign next to me, says, dogs and donkeys and women are not allowed to walk in the front of me, because three of you are equal and you defiled my prayer. Did you hear it? Did I say that? Three animals, according to Muhammad. Muhammad, he sees women as an animal. And she goes in the category of dogs and donkeys. Did I say that?
In the beginning stated that three things interpret and break. The Prophet ﷺ in the beginning stated that three things interpret and breaks our prayer: the passing of a woman, an adult, and the passing of a donkey, and the passing of a dog. And in the beginning of Islam, when the Prophet came to Medina ﷺ, he instructed all the companions to kill all dogs. And after...
Did you hear it? Did he just say to kill all dogs? Did he just say the Prophet instructed to kill all dogs? In the other video he says he commands us to kill dogs who bite. Listen carefully.
Kill all dogs. When the Prophet came to Medina ﷺ, he instructed all the companions to kill all dogs.
See?
And after some time, he told them to stop.
Do you know why? Because people start complaining. We need dogs to guard us, to guard our sheep, to guard our animals. Muhammad is an idiot. So in the beginning, he commanded to kill all dogs. But look what he said in the previous video. He said to kill dogs. Where is the video? Who they are biting. What? This is not what Muhammad said.
So Islam tells us to kill a wild dog that bites and attacks people.
See? They lie.
It tells us to kill mice because they spread all types of...
Like what? Terrorism in Paris? In Christmas market? What mice do? They drive their cars over a bunch of people doing shopping? They come from their car and they start shooting people in the bus station? They put a bomb in a church like what happened last night, which is daytime in Philippines. A beautiful Muslim, he put a bomb in a church, a prayer inside the university. He missed the location, right? He was going for a hunt. He said to himself, let us hunt some Christians. This is the most disgusting, silly cult ever. They have no problem with killing humans. And now even animals, they are going after them. The lizard is dangerous. What the lizard did.
Diseases. Plague is one of they are most infamous for. And also they cause fire in houses. As in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, it tells us.
The Prophet told us the mice cause fire. Actually, most of calls coming from the fire department because, you know, the mice, they come to you. You see, this is why I will never make a mice angry from me. You make him angry, he come to the fireplace, he takes some fire and he go around, you know, he make a cigarette, you know, like, you know, if, you know, like, okay. This is why you're not in the cartoon. I saw them in the cartoon. Listen, listen. You might think that this is not true. I saw them in the cartoon smoking. How do you explain that to me? Who is the one who made this picture? Don't tell me now the Muslim, they make it to make the Prophet telling the truth. It's true. They do it on purpose. Very evil creatures. And those Christians, they are in denial. They don't want to believe just because Muhammad said it. If somebody else said it, they will believe it. Tell us more, brother. Thank you for the information about biology and, you know, the animal world. Things we never heard before, but we are learning.
A wild dog that bites and attacks people. It tells us to kill mice because they spread all types of diseases.
Yeah, especially when they have sex with a human. I heard too that most of sexual disease are coming from mice. You know? Like you are sleeping, you have no idea what's going on. This is why Prophet Muhammad, he forbid Muslims to sleep in their belly. Why? Because if you sleep in your belly, the mice, you will see a hole. A hole. What he would do? He would start digging. Diggy, diggy, diggy. You wake up in the morning, you find yourself something wrong happened to you. And then you get sick because he put his sperm there. Hey, by the way, Muslims, why Prophet of Allah, he forbid Muslims from sleeping in their belly? Anyone can give us an answer? Is it true that Shaitan, he will F you if you sleep on your stomach? Is it? Look, Islam is not superstition. It's not stupid religion. No, everything is true. Everything is serious. I mean, everything is sponsored by facts, man. How many people they sleep in their belly and they lose their virginity from that location? Just face it. It happens every day. Prophet Muhammad, he put his nose in everywhere, including your anus. And now his nose is in the lizard and the mice. Dr. Muhammad, he knew everything. Imagine if Muhammad was exist right now. He will have the biggest channel in YouTube and he will be teaching us about all kind of form of scientific miracles.
That bites and attacks people. It tells us to kill mice because they spread all types of diseases. Plague is one of they are most infamous for. And also they cause fire in houses. As in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, it tells us mice do heinous things. Though people nowadays are so fond of them.
Stupid people.
We're told to kill the crows.
The crows, even the crows, they want to kill him.
The crow that also carries diseases and eats dead meat.
This is not the reason they kill him. He's lying. It's just because he's black. Muhammad, he says, وَاقْتُلُوا كُلَّ أَسْوَدٍ بَهِيمٍ. Kill every pure black. It's not only about the crowd, any animal. It is totally pure black. You kill it. Muhammad, he told them that the animals who they are black, they are Satan. For he's very filthy racist. Even for him, the one who will destroy the Kaaba is a black man, and he is a Satan. Even for Muhammad, he said the most man Allah he hate is a black man. Am I lying? My Skype is open. Dare to call if you dare.
We're ordered to kill snakes. We're ordered to kill scorpions.
Mr. Sauce, you're trying to contact me, my friend? My Skype is on. What's your name in Skype? Let us see. We have somebody here saying you keep fooling people. Is that you? A Muslim saying to me, I keep fooling people. Hello?
Hello.
You are live on air, my friend. Go ahead. You said I am fooling.
You are a liar. You are a liar.
Why? What
All
I
your women belong to us.
Oof,
You cannot
oof,
talk
oof.
Islam. Islam will meet you in your bedroom.
Uh,
Islam will meet every one of you. in
do
your
you know the story of your prophet
All
wife?
your women
Do you know the story of your prophet wife? She left your prophet and she joined a Christian man. Is it true that your prophet wife herself, she went in the lap of a Christian man and she left your prophet? Listen, I can convert to Islam now. I can have your wife to do mut'ah with her. You are, just shut up, son of a whore. Your women belong to us. Your women don't even belong to you. You exchange women like toys. I can convert to Islam right now for 2 days and have your sister and divorce her second day. Cheap people. Your wives, all your women belong to us. You cannot even defend yourself, you coward. When ISIS came to you, you call us. When Al-Qaeda came to you, you call us. When Iran come to you, you call us. It's our patriot protecting your stupid Kaaba. Your countries don't even have weapon. You can't even make a bullet. When Erdogan decided to make an industry for weapon, he started buying parts. And he hired people from Korea, people from here and there to put an airplane together. And then he claimed he have an airplane. We know you. A person who follow a prophet, he allow his wife to do mut'ah, is not a man. And Islam will come to my bedroom. Islam already in my bedroom. Just look under the bed. You will find my shoes. Islam will come to your bedroom. In fact, your prophet, he said that the judgment day will not come until the Roman, they will become the majority of mankind. You ask the Muslims who is the Roman, they will say the Christians. And what else he said? He said the Muslims and Islam will scroll back to its hole like a snake, will shrink. Even he said that the Kaaba, nobody will visit it except dogs. Are you denying what your prophet said? Either you deny it, and that will make me laugh at your prophet, or you accept what you just said to me, and that will make you laughable. Somebody saying, how should Arabic Christians call God in their language if it's not Allah? First of all, there is nothing called Allah for us as a God. Those who they are living under Muslims' occupation for a long time, they are under the influence and the threat of Islam. I don't agree with them to use that word. This is disgusting. This is very pagan. practice and very wrong. If you want to know what words we use, go open the Old Testament and the New Testament in the original language. Neither you will find the word Allah or anything from what they use today. We have tons of words. Now you do not know what word we use? You never heard of the Bible saying Elohim? You never heard of the Bible saying Yahweh? You never heard of the Bible saying many names? Now you do not know what to use? But anyway, I'm glad that this coward, he called me to tell us he want to take your women. Did you receive the message? Islam is so decent to the point they want to take your women. Did you hear it, people? Are you blind? And then the stupid Western, they join those cowards in the street to support those people who want to take your women against Israel. Is it me who said, or it's him and you heard him? Do you see how stupid people are? Those stupid in the West who supporting so-called Hamas or Palestine, they don't know that those people, they want to take your women, your children, your house, and you will be their slave. This is their dream. And the only thing is stopping them that they are very weak, potatoes. Each time they grow somewhere, we have to burn the weeds. This is what we did in Iraq. This is what we did in Syria. This is what we did everywhere. It's weeds. Ugly weeds. And now your Hamas, you coward son of Muta, the one who called me, is under our feet, literally. Where is your head? You show up your head when there's women alone in the house and men, they have no weapon. You coward, you kidnap even a kid. His name is Jimmy. What you did with Jimmy, Hamas? Did you have intercourse with Jimmy? Or Jimmy have intercourse with you? And look, all of them. How many they are? They claim they are almost 1.6 billion. In fact, they are not even one. I don't think even they count 600 million who believe. Not even 100 million, actually. Not one Islamic country dare to announce war on Israel. Subdued, paying jizya. Cowards. So what they do? They go and attack a woman. She is doing shopping. Coward like your prophet. And actually those incidents, even though they are bad, they help us to see why Islam is satanic, because there's many people, they are idiots, stupid. Still they believe that Islam, there's a good Islam and there's a bad Islam. But reality is Islam what Muhammad taught. And what Muhammad taught is what this guy said. Muhammad, he said to his men, attack the Romans so you can get the blonde girls. Am I lying? Attack the Roman and get the blonde girls. He did not say attack the Roman to spread Islam. He said attack the Roman to get the blonde girls. A Muslim was waiting there. He said to him, Prophet, why you are tempting us with women, man? What Muhammad did, he called this man, he is a fake Muslim, he is a hypocrite. The man who refused to go to war for the sake of getting blonde women, Muhammad, he accused him, and not only that, he made a verse about him in the Quran. Can you believe what kind of a scumbag this person is? He said to him, why you are tempting us with women to go to war? He did not give them a good reason. Why we want to find the Roman? They did not attack us. They did not fight us. For the sake of women? Yes, for the sake of women. For this is a garbage cult. And you heard him. Islam is a curse. And those who don't pay attention, they will pay the price. Let us continue with the video. And the one who keeps saying, let us debate about this, about that, just text me in Skype. Don't play like a kid. Otherwise, I will block you. You want to debate, just call. As you see, even this potato, he was able to call. So what was stopping you? Let us go back to the lizard. Peace be upon him. Where is the lizard story? Islam not only savage, Islam not only from cave time, Islam is dangerous. Will put your brain on the shelf. It will delete your brain. Tell us what happened. Why we have to do jihad against the lizard?
Houses, as in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, it tells us mice do heinous things.
Heinous.
Though people nowadays are so fond of them. We're told to kill the crows. A crow that also carries diseases and eats dead meat. We're ordered to kill snakes. We're ordered to kill scorpions. And these, by nature, are harmful for people. So killing them is justifiable and it's a legitimate thing to do. Likewise with the house lizards. And there is a hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari where the Prophet told us, alayhi salatu wasalam, that when Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, was thrown by his people in the blazing fire, all the creatures of Allah used to try and put off the fire.
See?
With the exception of the house lizard.
Brother and sister, can you believe it? There's a king, he tried to burn Prophet Abraham. He put him in a fire. All the animals. Did you hear? All the animals in the world. They come from everywhere in the purpose to stop the fire on a Prophet Abraham. How beautiful. The United States nations of animals from everywhere. They forgot about their differences, about the food they eat, about the religion. They forget about their discrimination. The tiger, he eat the sheep. The lion, he killed the tiger. They forgot about their enmity, hatred. The monkey, he come from the jungle. And he have a banana in his hand. The kangaroo, he came from Australia. The deer, even the pig, even the unicorn, the bear, the koala, all animals in the world, brothers and sisters, they come to fight and stop the fire on a Prophet Abraham, who a filthy king trying to kill him. Brothers and sisters, how Prophet Muhammad knew this information unless he is a prophet of God? The animals, they were fighting, jumping in the top of the fire to stop the fire. Even the gorilla, he was in the top actually, I was there. Actually, this is a picture. They took it. By Reuters, very well-known news agency. Animals, they came from everywhere. I can describe for you how beautiful was that day. Me, myself, I was crying, not because I was cutting onion. No. It was very beautiful. Chimpanzees were excited. What this guy is doing, I'm not sure. The rooster, birds, pigs, even pigs they came. I thought pigs is very dirty, filthy. Even puppies. Not a single animal in this earth did not join to stop the fire. I remember one female cow, Muslim, wearing hijab. May Allah bless her. She came with a lot of water. Even this guy. You see animals coming from everywhere, even ones we do not know what they are. Even fish, they come from the sea. Big nose, small nose. How you can explain that? All they are coming to save Prophet Abraham from the fire. Maybe we have a Muslim, let us see. Hello? Hello? Are you there? Okay, well, I will link up on you if you don't talk. All right, take a hike. So, brothers and sisters, how Prophet Muhammad, he knew this information. How he knew this story. How he got documentation for things it's impossible for him to know. This is go back all the way to the time of Abraham. Brother, tell us more of the truth about those heroes, animals who come from everywhere to stop the fire, except one insect. One insect. Her name is lizard.
That also carries diseases and eats dead meat. We're ordered to kill snakes. We're ordered to kill scorpions. And these, by nature, are harmful for people. So killing them is justifiable and it's a legitimate thing to do. Likewise with the house lizards.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a hadith.
Yeah.
In Sahih al-Bukhari.
Take a nap.
Where the Prophet told us, alayhi salatu wasalam, that when Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, was thrown by his people in the blazing fire, all the creatures of Allah used to try and put off the fire, with the exception of the house lizard. It used to try to...
No sound? Hold on. You're saying no sound? Oh, sorry. The sound is low. All right. Let me play it from the beginning. You missed nothing. Don't worry. We will play it again. Don't worry.
So fond of them. We're told to kill the crows. A crow that also carries diseases and eats dead meat. We're ordered to kill snakes. We're ordered to kill scorpions. And these, by nature, are harmful
very
for people.
I
so
know.
killing them is justifiable and it's a legitimate thing to do.
Legitimate.
Likewise with the house lizards.
Yeah.
And there is a hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari where the Prophet told us, alayhi salatu wasalam, that when Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, was thrown by his people in the blazing fire, all the creatures of Allah used to try and put off the fire, with the exception of the house lizard.
Disgusting.
It used to try to blow so that the fire would grow.
Look at the poetry. Look at the sense of a humor. He blow so the fire can grow. How you can deny such an amazing language? Prophet Muhammad, he said. How Prophet Muhammad, he can put those two words together. So now we have all the animals in the world coming to stop the fire versus one lizard. Who will win? All animals, including elephants, crocodile, lions, tigers, versus a lizard. I mean, the story, by the way, it makes a lot of sense. Think about it. 1 trillion animals coming from everywhere to stop the fire on Abraham. And there is one brave insect. It's called lizard. He called it insect, right? The lizard stood in front of the lion, the elephant, the crocodile, says, "You over my dead body, you cannot stop the fire on Abraham." The animals, they struggle. They said, "What the heck?" And they start thinking, why he's so brave? I mean, don't see we have 1 million elephant, 1 billion lion, tigers, wolves, foxes, dogs, crocodiles, all is coming. United front. To stop the fire. Yet this crazy lizard, he stood in front of us with no fear. How you can explain that story? One lizard. Look, by the way, I was thinking about this. I said, how come this only one lizard? I mean, what about the rest of the family? And then I said to myself, maybe at that time there was only one lizard. He don't have anybody. It was only one. And looked like he was so powerful. And you are telling me that there is some people will not convert to Islam? What's wrong with you? This is what the potatoes of Hamas believe in. This idiot Mohammed is their prophet. Same story is not even qualified to convince a kid is 6 years old. Those are the ones who you bring them to university to teach about the religion. They believe in this garbage. 1 billion animals coming to stop the fire on one lizard. And look at the face of the sheikh, he's so sad. We have to give him a credit. Do you see how his face? Put yourself in his shoes. He's a Muslim. And he sees such an ugly attack. They want to burn a good Muslim. How you feel, Sheikh? That is very shaky. I cannot believe that this is even happening. Look at him, depressed with the story. By the way, Do you think that the IDF right now, they are using the same lizard family? Just to show you how stupid this cult is. They say in Islam, and I want you to take a note carefully about what I will say, very important. The Muslim, they say to you when they debate about Christianity, they say, why somebody will die for the sin of somebody else? Isn't it what they say? Why somebody will die for the sin of somebody else? They are killing lizard because he's a grandfather. A funny story about trying to burn Abraham. Are you seeking revenge from his kids, babies? Are you saying that to me that the lizard, they are descended from Adam and Eve too? Like they have one Adam, one Eve, and you know, all of them, they are family, like the same guy? If you are a Muslim who believe in those stories, I will be happy to hear you. I'm really convinced that Allah Prophet is Allah Prophet. My microphone was not working. Okay, let's give him a try. Supposedly he fixed his microphone now, so we will see. I silenced the speaker so it doesn't bother you guys until he answers. The Skype sound is really annoying, but we have no choice. Answer, I'm calling you. Oh. He's not answering. Let us try again. Hello? Hello? Yes, my friend, you are live on air. What do you like to say to us? Are you a Muslim? I see that you have a Muslim name.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think about the lizard trying to kill Abraham?
I don't. I wasn't listening to that.
So why you are calling me? For what reason?
I'm inviting you to Islam.
Okay, I accept. I'm going to have 72 women and they are naked and their legs is up. What? Why you are laughing? That's what your prophets say. Why you are laughing? I like to have a lot of women. By the way, we have a deal. 72 at least. Because, you know, for me, by the way, I can do more. But 72, I mean, this is the minimum I can accept.
Where does it say that the 72 women?
What the heck? You do not know? You are the Muslim calling me to invite me to Islam, but you do not know what your prophet said?
I don't
Huh?
know.
Huh?
I don't know.
Okay. I will, do you see my YouTube?
Yes.
All right, but just be sure, please, that you mute it so you don't have double sound coming from there. Okay, here we go. I will put for you the hadith. In fact, you know, your prophet, he said that the lowest reward is 72 women. This is not the reward for everybody. But because I know I'm not a good guy, you know, and I will not get all those. Like I did not kill any Christians yet, or Jews or Hindus, so to get those women. So look what your prophet said. The least people in paradise, the least, you know what list? The least. The lowest. Those are the okay. You see the page in front of you?
Yes.
Okay, can you read it for me? Go ahead, read it. I prefer if you read it for us better than me reading it. Go ahead.
People in paradise in position is the one with 80,000 serpents and 72 wives.
Huh. So, what do you think? 70,000, 80,000 slaves? 80,000?
Maybe it's not.
Huh?
Maybe it's not authentic.
Everything in Islam is not authentic. I mean, you have a God is not authentic. Well, you know, this is the one. Well, isn't it the Quran says you will have a virgins too?
Yeah, but show, like, scroll down, show that Sahih.
It says da'if, but in different places it says sahih. So which one you want? You want the sahih or the hadith? Which one you want?
Sahih.
So why you Muslim, you keep quoting for us 72 versions if there is no 72 version. So when you want, it's accepted it to be sahih. When you want, it says it is da'if. So which one? What do you think? Are you saying to me that you Muslim? So when you say da'if, are you saying to me that you Muslims you did lie a lot about your prophet, about what he said?
No, I don't know. I don't know what you're saying.
What you're saying to me, I just showed you the story. You say to me, I want something authentic. That means the Muslims, you lie.
No, I want. Okay. I'll show you in the Bible where Muhammad is mentioned.
Where what? What?
Where Muhammad is mentioned in Bible.
Muhammad is mentioned in the Bible.
Yeah.
Which Bible? The corrupt one?
Yeah, but there's still some.
How you know some? Okay,
ones.
you Muslim, you keep saying the Bible is corrupt, and now you want to show me in the book which is corrupt that Muhammad is there. That means Muhammad is corrupt.
No, but. No,
Okay,
but
so the Christian they corrupt the Bible for what then? If they corrupt it to change anything, to hide something, they should corrupt the one about Muhammad. Why this is the only one is not corrupted? Can you show me first? Can you show me, my friend? Can you show me first Muhammad in your religion before you show it to me in my Bible? There's nowhere in the Bible speak about Muhammad except he's a false prophet, deceiver, liar. Can you show me even their prophet to be a prophet? Okay, what the word prophet mean?
It means someone who receives a revelation from
exactly
God.
Can you show me where in the Quran it says that Muhammad he received revelation from God?
It's in the Hadith.
It's in the Hadith? No, it's in the Quran. I can show you.
I don't know. I don't know everything.
Okay, you do not know everything. I know you. I know everything. Here we go. This is your Quran. Let me show you. The Quran says that the revelation Muhammad he have, it is from Muhammad. Let me put it for you on the screen. All right. The Quran confirms that the Quran is made up by Muhammad. This is not in the Quran. If you open page number 002030, you will find it there. It says here, إِنَّهُ لَقَوْلُ رَسُولٍ كَرِيمٍ. It appeared twice at least in the Quran. Al-Haqqa, verse number 40. At-Takwir, verse number 90. Which means 69, 40. This is verily the word of honored messenger. Is it the word of Allah or the word of honored messenger?
It's the word of Allah.
So how it is the word of honored messenger? If it is the word, if it is the word, you don't see my page?
Oh, no, I see it now.
Okay. Chapter 69, verse number 40. It is indeed the Quran, the words of Muhammad, not recitation. This is a false translation. It says, لَقَوْلِ رَسُولٍ كَرِيمٍ. You change the translator. Look how Muslims they try to duct tape. It says the words of the messenger, the word of the messenger, not recitation.
Yeah, but it says which he has brought from Allah.
But it says it's this. It is the words of Muhammad. If it's brought from Allah, it's not the word of Muhammad. It's the word of Allah. It can't be the word. It can't be the word of Allah if we say it is the word of Muhammad.
Well, no,
And the Muslim, they add things. Look, here it says, most surely it is the word brought by an honored messenger, but it doesn't say that. It says, إِنَّهُ لَقَوْلُ رَسُولٍ كَرِيمٍ. It is the words of an honored messenger, not brought by. You see, I'm adding just more translation just to show you how Muslim they try to fabricate. This is Yusuf Ali, the last one. This is verily the word of honored messenger. Do you see it? This is what the Quran is saying. Not a single word more, not a single word less.
Or whatever Mohammed Lipham says is from Allah.
No, the Quran says this is the word of honored messenger. How it is from Allah? If it is from Allah, then the verse is wrong. We should say it is the word of Allah.
I don't know how to.
Okay, so okay, the word prophet means somebody who prophesy, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you go to school?
Yeah.
What education you have, if you don't mind to share with me?
Like I have kindergarten at least.
Okay, I'm the same, so don't worry. So I will not ask you about this question, it might be hard. So I will ask you, do you know where hail is coming from? Hail, you know hail? The ice come from the sky, you know?
What?
Hail, you know hail? Do you know what hail?
Like healing someone?
No, hail is the ice which come from the sky. Like you have like those big balls like ice. They hit you in the head, you know, sometimes they hit you in the balls.
Oh yeah, I know.
Okay. So according to you, where the hail is coming from, is it true? I don't know, this guy, he is a Muslim, he told me, that hail is coming from mountains in heaven, and Allah, he break the hails and he throw it at us from the mountain there. So what do you think about this? Do you accept it?
Wait, where does it say?
No, I'm asking you first. What do you think about it?
I don't think that's true.
What do you mean you don't think so? Are you saying this Muslim is not telling the truth? Why you would do that? He's a good Muslim.
I think.
I don't know. I'm really offended that you are insulting my friend. You know, we used to be in jail together. He's a good guy. He sells drugs, and you know, he's a very like he never always he keep a promise. Like he want to bring you drugs, he bring you drugs. He never late. You know, so don't say that about him, please. So look, it says here, and this is I'm showing you many Islamic translation, and this is chapter 24, verse number 43. The Muslim they try to fix it. It says here, he sent down from heaven mountain wherein is hail. This is your Quran. So how your prophet is a messenger of Allah, and yet he think that there is in the heaven, there is mountain of hail, and Allah, he break the hail and he throw it at us.
Maybe the heaven should be translated as sky.
Yeah, it says sky, actually, you are right. You know, how you know? Man, you are something. It says in Arabic here, by the way, do you speak Arabic?
No.
I don't speak Arabic too. Here it says, وَيُنْزِلُ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مِنْ جِبَالٍ فِيهَا مِنْ بَرَدٍ فَيُصِيبُ بِهِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. So he sent down from the sky, from mountains in it, hail, and he hit with it whoever he will.
Well, maybe the mountains are referring to clouds.
No, it says mountains. It doesn't say a cloud. If it says a cloud, we will say it's cloud. It says, and he sent down from the sky, from mountain in it. I can show you the interpretation. You want to show you the interpretation?
Okay.
All right. You know what interpretation mean?
Yeah.
What interpretation mean? Oh, okay. So chapter 24, verse number 43. Let us go there. And then we go to the interpretation. And this is your official government website of the King of Jordan. He used to be working as driver for Trump before. It says here, he sent down, read with me carefully, this is Tafsir Ibn Abbas, the cousin of your prophet. You heard of him, Ibn Abbas?
Yeah, I know him.
Okay, I know him too. Here it says, he sent down from heaven mountain where there is hail. He sent down hail from mountains in heaven. Do you see it?
Hold on, the stream is delayed. It takes a while for me to see.
Yeah, it's okay. It's going to come. That's what happened when you use the internet of the neighbors.
Okay, I see it now.
Okay, so is that the prophet of Allah who says such a thing? I mean, this is even kids, they knew this is not true.
Well, when I searched up this translation, and it says something.
They lie, the Arabic in front of you, and this is the interpretation. Do you think Ibn Abbas, who is the cousin of your prophet, who his first language is only Arabic and he speaks only Arabic, he did not understand what your prophet said? And you want to believe a false translation? Be honest. Who is the one you can trust more? A companion of your prophet, and he is his cousin from his family, or somebody made a translation 2 years ago to say it in Amazon? Be honest, which one? Who knows really what Muhammad said and what Muhammad meant?
Ibn Abbas.
Exactly. And if this is what Muhammad said, well, Muhammad cannot be a prophet.
Okay, wait, can we change the topic?
Sure. What topic you want? Go ahead. Hit me.
Okay, so there is in Song of Solomon 5:16, Muhammad is mentioned in the Hebrew.
Oh, okay. Well, Muhammadin, that word mean women too. So is your prophet a woman? It's talking about pretty. Is your prophet pretty?
Sure.
Is your prophet pretty?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm very sure. Do your prophet, do he have a grass grow in his chest? Do your prophet have long legs and they are nice and sexy? How the Song of Songs is about your prophet? I mean, did you read it even? Did you even read it? You just go to a Muslim website and they say this is about Muhammad. Isn't it Muhammad did that? Ahmed did that, was making fun of it, saying this is a porno. Muhammad did that. He was making fun of Song of Songs all his life until somebody told him Muhammadin. Suddenly, what he used to call porn, suddenly it become the prophet. It's not the porn no more. Every single Muslim used to call it porn. This is the song of porn. Then somebody told him Muhammadin. Suddenly, Muhammadin is in the Bible and Muhammad is there, and this is a holy verses. From porn to verses. Huh? What?
Some parts are corrupted and some parts are not.
My friend, but this is will not fit your prophet anyway. Same time, the guy is obviously is not talking about a female. Is your prophet? He's not talking about your prophet. He's talking about a female. Is your prophet female?
No.
Do he have a breast? Big boobs?
No.
No, he does.
What?
Yeah, he does. Don't you know that the Quran says that Allah, he made a plastic surgery for your prophet in order to make his boobs bigger? Don't tell me you do not know that. Honestly.
Are you talking about the Isra and Mi'raj?
Well, yeah. I mean, when your God, he opened his chest and he expanded his chest. Isn't it the Quran says that? His breast, actually. Correct?
I don't know if Quran says that, but it's said in Hadith.
Yeah, no, it says that in the Quran. It says in the chapter, even the chapter, it's saying it's called Ash-Sharh. Verse number 1. So Muhammad is the first one actually in history who Allah, he made his boobs big. You know? Look, it says here, have we not caused their bosom to the light? Other translation, have we not expanded for you your breast? I like this one. Look at this. Why Allah, he did plastic surgery to your prophet to expand his bosom and his breast?
Well, maybe it's a false translation.
I do not need translation. I speak Arabic. It says, Alam nashrah laka sadrak. And this is your Muslim translation. So what we would do? Look, this is Muhammad Biktal, this is Muhammad Shakir, this is Muhammad Yusuf Ali. All of them, they are Muhammad. Not even one of them is Ahmed.
It's talking about his chest.
Yeah, so, okay, so what happened? Can you tell us? No, his breast, it says breast, sadrak. This is what they are saying, breast. Let us go with the chest, no problem. What happened? Do you know what happened?
What?
I mean, you know what happened? What this verse talking about? Is it true that the angel Jibril, he brought with him an assistant nurse? He's an angel, but he's a nurse. And they put your prophet on the floor, and then they cut his chest all the way from his throat all the way to his balls, like you know. And then they took everything inside, all the material, screws, you know, anything. They took it out and they wash it with the water of Zamzam, and then they put it back. Is that correct? What happened? Are you with me? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I lost you. I don't know what happened. So what do you think about this surgery? Your prophet, he claimed that the angels, they came and they cut his chest and they extend his breast, which is nice, by the way. I mean, you know, there's many, they go to Thailand, you know, like LGBT community, etc., or like, you know, transgender. They go there and they make big breasts. They pump silicone there, and they have big, huge ones, man, like that balloon, like boing, 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 you know. So here, you're a prophet before all of this technology. Allah, he did it to him. What was the purpose of Allah opening the chest of Muhammad and pumping silicone inside? What he pumped inside, do you know?
The blessings.
Exactly. Unbelievable. But is it a blessing something you can pump in? Since when blessing is like, is a blessing is a liquid, we can pump it? How it's a blessing, and now Allah need to pump it, and he opened his chest and he pumped him with the blessing? Is that like blessing, like the one you put for the air condition free on?
It may be like an invisible thing.
No, it's not invisible. It was visible. In fact, it says in the hadith that they brought it in dishes. And to make it simple for you was not a blessing. He brought for him 2 dishes, one full of faith and one full of wisdom.
I don't know.
Do you think that we can put faith and wisdom in dishes and put them in the chest of somebody? What do you think?
Well, if it's in the Quran, then yes.
If it's in the Quran, yes.
If it's in Quran or Hadith, then yes.
Then yes. I see. If it's not, then it's a lie, right?
Yeah.
So you believe it blindly, even if it's stupid.
No, I don't. Well, if it's in the Quran, then it's not stupid.
Well, I mean, it's stupid because okay, have you ever heard of somebody getting faith in dishes? Is faith is something? Is it like an object? Is it like a material? Is it like a silicone? Or a faith is a belief? It's not a material. Can I buy from you like 2 kilos of faith, please?
No.
Okay, so what are you talking about? So how Allah he put for him, you know, a dish of faith. Look, here it says, I don't know if you can see my screen. So when the prophet, he was almost asleep, they came to him, those 2 angels, and they took him and they placed him next to the water of Zamzam. From among them, Jibril, the angel Jibril, he took charge on him. So the one who is doing the surgery is Jibril, Allah released upon him. And he cut open his body between his throat to middle his chest. By the way, this is not correct, you know, translation. But anyway, it says hatta anqa jawfahu, and all the way down to his testicles. And then he took all the material out. Why the angels taking all the material inside your prophet's chest?
Well, maybe it was for because Allah has commanded it.
Okay, but why? Why? What they are doing exactly? Like you go to the mechanic, you know, let us say you have some bad oil in the engine, something stuck there, like a piece of metal, you know, stuck there. Cylinder is broken, something, you know. So what they took everything off. Was Muhammad was dead or was alive when they took everything off? They took his heart, his kidney, his liver. Look, here it says, and read carefully, I'll read it for you. You correct me if I'm saying it correctly. Abdu min. Is that correct word? It's mean Abdul min. There's Abdul inside the Prophet, or this is something else. What do you think? What is word? What Abdu min?
It means like a follow, like a submitter, I think, or a follower or something like that.
It's what?
Like a follower or submitter or something like that.
He's a submitter? No, this is the body of the part. I was joking. It's a body and the part inside you. You know, they call it in English abdomen, you know, because they stole it from the Arab. They call it now abdomen, you know, but the reality, it is abdomen, because this is Abdu, who is a prophet follower. He discovered it, and then those liars, the Western, they took the name from them, and this is abdomen, you know. So anyway, so they took this part from his stomach, and they start washing it, and his liver and everything. They took all the material. See, it says here, they took all the material, nothing there, like naked. That's it. All the inside of your prophet is empty. All of it is in the water of Zamzam. And then they wash it with the water of Zamzam. Do you see what happened? They wash it with the water of Zamzam. What do you think about this?
It's a miracle of Allah.
It's a miracle. But isn't it Allah? If he is God, he can clean the chest of Muhammad without doing surgery? Isn't he God? Isn't the Quran says if Allah wants something to happen, he say be is going to be?
Yeah, because it just Allah chose it that way to happen.
That way, okay. Well, how come Allah did not choose to do that to Moses or Isa? I mean, how many messengers Allah he did surgery, plastic surgery for their boobs? Beside Muhammad, nobody. How come? I will tell you. According to Muslims, Muhammad was so dirty. So Allah could not take him to heaven as he is, for he is so dirty, inside, outside. So he said to himself, this guy is so dirty to the point I cannot even do any command just to clean him. So he sent 2 angels, and they did the surgery to clean him from inside. It was messed up inside, brother. I mean, it was like they took like 2 tons of dirt. What they cleaned from inside? What is inside? What's the problem inside?
Well, I think every human would have to be washed before entering the heaven.
Every human have to be washed?
Before entering Jannah.
So your Allah, when he go to heaven, he will cut your chest?
Or maybe.
Okay. So how come Allah did not do that with Isa? Isa went to Jannah and nobody cut his chest.
Or maybe it's just not mentioned.
Muhammad forgot to mention it. Okay. So now it says here, he washed it with his hands. Do the angels of Jibreel have hands? Or he have wings?
The angels might have hands.
No, your prophet, he said he saw him with 600 wings. Maybe this time he came. Maybe this time he came with the wings and the hands together.
Yeah.
Or maybe he come as a man. You never know. Right?
The angels can take any form.
I know. By the way, I'm an angel. You know? Yeah. But I don't look good. But anyway, look, it says here, they cleaned inside his body. They cleansed inside his body. And then a gold tray containing gold bowl full of belief and wisdom. Do you see what Allah he sent with the angels? Now we understand what's going on. So they opened his chest because it was so dirty, and he need to lose some weight because they need to put something instead. So they took all those material, which is useless, you know, I mean, battery, you know, Tesla, all the stuff. They took it, throw it out. And then they brought a golden bowl full of belief. Have you ever heard of a belief coming in a bowl? What do you think?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here with you. Don't look at your stomach now. So what do you think? Is it really, do you Muslims believe that God, he sent faith and belief in a dishes?
It's a miracle of Allah.
Oh, it's a miracle. Okay. And what about wisdom? Wisdom too in dishes?
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle. But don't you think that this is an insult to Muhammad? That means Muhammad was not wise. He was so bad, his faith is bad, his wisdom is so horrible, to the point Allah, he need to do adjustment for his creation. Who is the one who created Muhammad?
Allah.
Okay, so do you hear about sometime like those companies, they make a recall like this, they sell you the car and then they call you and says, please come back because the brakes have a problem. Is that true?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, so Allah now is doing the same. He found that his creation is not good and now he want to fix it. And what he's fixing? What he's fixing?
It doesn't say that like he was fixing it. Just like he might have already had belief and wisdom before, but Allah is adding more.
No, he don't have belief and wisdom before, and the Quran says that. You want me to show you?
Yeah. Show it.
We go to the Quran. It says, Muhammad, he was lost. How Allah he guided him? The chapter of Ad-Duha, it says, وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا فَهَدَى. He found you lost and he guided you. Chapter 93, verse number 7. Not only this one. Do you see this one so I can switch or not yet?
I don't see it. I
Okay.
just see Arabic.
All right. So Muhammad was lost. In Arabic it says dal. Dal, not wandering. Dal mean lost. So he guided you. Okay, how he guided you? He make a surgery. Let us show you another verse. Take your time to see this one. We go to a different one. We will find the following. The Muslim they say that Muhammad was a believer in Abraham. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Don't you think this is a lie?
No, I don't think so.
So how in chapter of Shura, verse number 4, chapter 42, verse number 52, it says that Muhammad, he do not know what is faith, what is the scriptures. Do you see it? Muhammad, he confirmed that he know not what is faith and what is scripture. Is it me saying that? No.
Well, because like before he, in the cave, when he met the angel Gabriel, he didn't know Islam.
No, he said you don't know what faith is. He didn't say you do not know Islam. You have no faith. He have zero faith. You know what zero faith mean? Zero.
Yeah, but
You know, no, you don't know. Read with me carefully. Let me read again. It says
it's
that
probably because like before he didn't have faith in Islam before.
no, he do not even know what is faith. He do not know.
Because before he wasn't like before he wasn't a Jew or a Christian before.
So what he
Islam.
was. So what he was. If I don't have any faith, that means I have no faith. It says you do not know what faith is, and you do not know what scriptures is. So he know nothing about the scriptures, and he have no faith in the true God. He's a pagan man. So now what Allah is doing, if we go back to the hadith, Allah, he is installing faith to Muhammad. Muhammad didn't have faith. So Muhammad now, he needed plastic surgery, which is understood because he's messed up. So Allah, he said to himself, oh, this guy, I made him a prophet, I made a mistake. He don't have faith, he don't know even anything about the scriptures, and he do not know how to write, how to read. Is that correct?
He didn't know how to write or read.
Yeah, so how he will teach you if somebody, how somebody became a teacher if you don't know how to write, how to read?
Well, I don't think Jesus knew how to write or read either.
Oh no, he knew. Actually, even the Quran says to you that Jesus even spoke in the cradle as a wise prophet. So in the cradle, you know, and the Bible confirmed that Jesus, he read. So now we have your prophet do not know how to write, how to read. He have zero faith. And now his God need to do plastic surgery for him to extend his breast. And then what he pumped there? He pumped faith and wisdom. But look what happened. You're a prophet now. After Allah, he put faith and wisdom. Is he wise and faithful?
Oh, okay, so I think I know the answer. That verse in Quran, it was revealed before he got the revelation. So then after he got the revelation,
No, my friend. This is a chapter. Look. Go, if you go read those. This is chapter 93, and this one is chapter 42. If you go and check when those given, they're given long after Muhammad became a prophet. So now Muhammad now is a prophet, yet he do not know what faith and what scriptures is. All this time he's a prophet, yet he do not know what is the scriptures. Muhammad is a false prophet, obviously. So how he claimed to be a prophet?
Well, some parts of the Quran are abrogated, so maybe that was revealed when...
It doesn't matter. Let us say, okay, by the way, this is another stupid thing. I mean, what kind of God? He says something and he changes his mind second day. Is it true that your prophet, he says something at night and then second day he change it?
Maybe it could be possible.
Why it's possible? I mean, isn't it God? It take God, angels, 1,000 years to come to the earth and 1,000 years to go back. So how the angels did deliver the second message to Muhammad that fast? How long it take the angels to go up to heaven and to go down to earth?
Like 1,000 years.
Just to go and to come back is 1,000 years, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so now Muhammad, he gave a command today. Then to receive abrogation for it, the angels have to travel to Allah, correct?
Well, maybe he was using, the angels were using the burqa, the flying horse.
The flying horse. Okay, well, that makes sense now. So the angels are not fast as the donkey.
Well, I think the burqa is fastest thing in the universe.
How come? It's called al-buraq, which means he have a speed of light. Buraq.
Yeah, I think he's faster than speed of light.
But no, it says his name is al-buraq. So how you call him speed of light? You know, and this is something, you know, exists in the old like mythologies of religions about the flying horses, and this is al-buraq. How it's fast, you know, and how you can even to be in the speed of light if you have a physical body. In order to go in the speed of light, you have to get rid of your body to be light. To be light, is the donkey is a light?
It's just miracle. Allah can do whatever He wants.
So how come the angels are not as fast as the donkey?
Just Allah created that way.
Okay, but isn't it you know, your God, he says that the one who sent down the Quran is the angel of Allah? Isn't your Muslim keep saying Jibreel? The only time the story of this flying donkey it appeared actually twice in Islam. Once that Sulaiman, he have a horse, he have wings, and he slaughter him, which is legend of the Jews. And the second time when this donkey came to pick up your prophet.
Well, the angel was probably riding the donkey or horse when.
Yeah. You know, I have something about this donkey. I don't like him. Do you know why?
Why?
Do you know that when the Prophet of Allah, imagine, brother, when the Prophet of Allah wanted to ride the donkey, this filthy donkey, the same one, he was upset that the Prophet want to ride him. Can you believe it? Do you know that?
Wait, what? Wait, what you say?
When the Prophet of Allah wanted to ride the donkey, like the angels, he told him, okay, ride the donkey, al-buraq, you know.
Yeah.
The donkey, he started, oh, you know, like a mule, you know. He's a big donkey. He didn't want Muhammad to ride on him. Do you know why?
Why?
You tell me. I don't know. I'm asking you. You are the Muslim.
I don't know.
And then the angel of Allah, Jibreel, told the donkey, shame on you. Don't you know who's he? The donkey looked at the angel. He says, huh? He told him, this is Prophet Muhammad.
What?
What do you think
I
about
don't
this story?
It's just miracles.
But why the donkey he don't want Muhammad? Maybe he stink?
No, but Mohammed, peace be upon him, he rode him.
I see. I know. I mean, this donkey is really weird. Why he don't want the Prophet of Allah to ride him? He was so upset, angry, and
Well, he did ride him.
huh?
But the Prophet did ride him though.
Yeah, he did. If there's any witnesses, by the way?
The Hadith say it.
Yeah? Who was the witness? Anyone who saw Muhammad riding this flying donkey?
His companions saw it.
Can you show me the reference? I never saw anyone saying he saw it. Not even one. What are you talking about?
Well, I heard a story that the Indian king saw him.
The Indian? What?
An Indian king saw him. And then he went to Mecca and converted to Islam.
Who?
Like this Indian king, he saw him riding the donkey, and then he moved to Mecca.
He's an Indian?
Yeah.
Who is this Indian? Is that Moody?
No, I don't know if it's even true. I just heard it one time.
Okay, but who is this Indian who converted to Islam? Is that Joe Biden? Because originally he think he's an American Indian.
No. Hold on, I'll search it up.
Hold on, let me search it. To see.
Okay, I can't find it, but give me. Yeah, I probably heard it from a wrong source. I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, but his companions still saw it, though. His companions, they still saw it.
No, it's okay. I mean, I will find it. Here we go. I think I found the story. All right. Here we go. Is that the one you are talking about? This is what you mentioned.
I can't see anything.
Well, it's going to come to you now. Is that the Indian guy who came to Mecca, converted to Islam, and he was riding a donkey, flying donkey?
No, it's like
What? Don't tell me this is not the so. I don't know. I searched. It says Prophet Moody, riding a donkey, coming, to Mecca, flying, because those Mecca people, they don't like him, but because now he became a Muslim, he went when there's nobody in the Kaaba. It was so early in the morning, everybody is asleep, Muslims, they snore all day now. So he went there. He fly this donkey, have wings. Look, I don't know if you can see the wings, they are wingy wings. This is why actually they said to you in the news that Moody is a right-wing Hindu, right wing. That explain it. So he used right wings. So look like this donkey, he have only right wings. He don't have two like left wings because it's haram in Islam to have right. Yeah.
But forget the this Indian thing. But in regards to like the Burak, who saw the Isra Miraj, like the companion saw it.
No, even his wife, she said she was asleep and she never saw, she saw even the body of your prophet next to her.
Wait,
She said, yeah, she said, Asra bi ruhihi walaysa. So Aisha, she said, if he went with his soul, not with his spirit. Not with his body, sorry. But I'm really surprised that Moody, he ride this donkey. Where you get this story from? If you can find it for me, please tell me what the title.
Wait, what?
Can you tell me the title of the article about this guy who ride a donkey, flying donkey? He went to Mecca.
I saw it on YouTube. I don't even know.
On YouTube. Okay. And then this Hindu, he's a Hindu?
Yeah, I think so. And then he.
But how he go there? Did he do circumcision before he would go?
I don't know. No, I'm not saying he rode the donkey. I'm saying he saw the donkey, the Burak being rode, and then he went there to Mecca.
Okay, I know. Anyway, my friend, I think I'm convinced that Muhammad is a prophet because look, I mean, even Allah, he wanted to treat him a special treatment. So what he do? He sent him a flying donkey with two wings, which is abnormal. And then before he do that, he clean his body, extend his chest, and he do install a dish of wisdom and a dish of faith. So do you think now Muhammad, after Allah, he installed wisdom and faith, like wisdom, especially wisdom, did he become more wise or more stupid? Huh?
I don't know, but I'll explain miracle of Quran. I'll explain a miracle of Quran.
No, I'm asking you a question. Now forget about the miracles. I understand. So now Allah, he installed a dish of wisdom in his chest. Is Muhammad now more smart or more stupid? Because wisdom, what wisdom would do? Would make you wiser, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now Muhammad, after the surgery, he should be better than before the surgery, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know where the sun set?
I'm not answering.
My grandmother, she said to me that the sun set in a muddy water, boiling water.
I know where you're gonna go to.
Oh, you know the place? You know the place where I'm going to go to? Okay. So how your prophet, Allah, he did the surgery for him, and now after the surgery, he says such a thing, that the sun goes every day and sleep inside a spring of muddy boiling water. And this is after the surgery.
I think the hadith is not sahih.
It is sahih. Look, it says sahih. Read it.
No, I think it's only... No, because it's only sahih and chain.
Sahih and chain means sahih. I mean, sahih and chain, there's nothing wrong with it. Did they say da'if?
But I think there's other hadiths.
Did they say that? But this is an agreement with the Quran. The Quran says that Zulqarnain, he found the sun setting in boiling water. Are you saying to me the Quran is da'if too? Isn't it the Quran says that?
The Quran appeared as if it says...
No, nowhere it says if. That's a lie, my friend. That's a lie. If you can show me where it says if, I will shave my 25-meter beard. I got a ticket because of it. The police here, they are so... Huh?
When I read translation, it says that.
What translation? It's a lie. Use copy, word by word, and translate.
Look, I'm reading a translation. It says, until he reached the setting point of the sun, which appeared to him to be
Okay,
setting.
what translation you are reading?
I don't even know.
Read the name or tell me the name.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. Okay, wait, it's the clear Quran.
Oh.
Dr. Mustafa Khattab.
Oh, Mustafa Khattab. All right. All right. Can you read for me what it says there?
Like we're on your screen.
Yeah. All right. Mustafa Khattab. Somebody saying the page for Patreon does not be found. The admin can post for you the correct one. Let me post it. Hold on. I mean, the admin posts it. We put it there. Otherwise, we don't. So read for me what it says. Muhammad Khattab. Can you share with us?
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead, please. Go ahead. Yeah.
Like from my own case, like, so it says, for me, until he reached the setting point of the sun, which appeared to him to be setting in the spring of murky water.
It's appeared to him. Okay. You know what? I will go with the translation of this guy. Did he say until he reached the setting point of the sun?
On your screen is different. For me, it says
No problem. I'm showing you the translation you choose. Khattab. I just open it. I add it. Where is the setting point of the sun? The guy, he keep going. He have a journey of many years in his life, and now he reached the setting point of the sun. You see, the translator is a fraud, because even though he tried to change it, to fix it, but he made a mistake. Because there's nowhere it's called setting point of the sun. Sunset everywhere. Is that correct?
Or like you can see like the sun setting in a murky in water. You can see it setting.
Where do you see that? Where do you see that? You see, even in his stupid translation, it says, in a spring of murky water. Have you ever heard of somebody see the sun sitting in a spring of water? So he lied. He says it appeared to him, which is not in the Quran. The Quran doesn't say appear. It says he found it sitting. He went all the way to the sitting place of the sun. And then he found it sitting in a muddy spring. Now, the spring of water is small. So when Muslims, they try to fix it, they lie. They say, when you go to the ocean, you see the sun as if it's going down in the water. But this is a spring of water. It doesn't say anything about the sea or the ocean. Spring of water is just little tiny water. So we call it spring.
Yeah, but it's still possible to appear the sun setting.
No, it's not possible because it's spring of water. You know, it's possible if you're in the ocean to think about it this way because the ocean is so big, but this is a spring of water. So first does not say it appeared, they lie. And this is your Muslim translation, big tar in the top of it. Read carefully. How come the same book, they are saying totally different things? They lie. You don't need to listen to me. You can take those words in the Quran and translate them one by one. Just one by one. Copy, paste in Google. Copy, paste in Google. And you will find nowhere it says it appear. Is it allowed for you Muslim to add words to the Quran? Is not there?
Right, I'll try to like copy the Arabic and put it in the.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait a second.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, I did it, and it says, until when he reaches the setting of the sun, he finds it setting in a fever spring.
Thank you. So there's no appear.
It says he finds it setting.
Exactly. He found it sitting. It doesn't say appear. So why is adding appear? If appear is not there, who is the one who's talking? Allah. It's not even the guy. The guy is dead. And now they ask Muhammad, tell us about Zulqarnain. The Jews making fun of Muhammad as usual. He is a fool. They made him believe that Zulqarnain, the man with the two horns, which is Alexander the Great, is a prophet of Allah. So they told him, can you tell us about this prophet? Muhammad do not know much about him. So he went, he asked two slaves, they are from Assyria, and they told him some information. He come back after a few weeks, tell them, listen, Allah told me to tell you this. I got the information you are asking for. This is what we find here. It says here, and they ask thee about Zulqarnain. Have you ever heard of a man? His name is the man with the two horns. Why? He's a cow. But this is the Roman guy, Zulqarnain. He put a hat, have two horns for war. So now Allah is voluntarily tell us about him. It's not the guy talking, Allah talking. So when Allah he says he found it sitting, it's not the guy he thought it's sitting. Allah said he found it. Here is reporting a find, which means this is what happened. And it says here, if you read with me carefully, that when he found it sitting he found the sitting place of the sun, he found it sitting in a muddy spring of water, which is boiling water. Hamia, by the way, is not just murky. That's a false translation. It's boiling. The same word used about description of the hell in the Quran, Hamia. So how Muhammad, he claimed to be a prophet of Allah. And as you see, Muhammad, he confirmed the same meaning in the hadith. In the hadith, he confirmed that the sun set every day. He was with his friend. And he said to him, do you know where the sun goes? He said, no, Allah and his messengers knows best. He said it goes and set in a spring of hot water. Not warm, very hot.
Okay, but doesn't the Genesis also have scientific errors?
It's what?
The book of Genesis, doesn't it also have scientific errors?
No. Same time, if the book of Genesis has a scientific error, then how your prophet Muhammad, he put his hand on the book of Genesis and he swear by it. And he says, I believe in thee.
Where does it say that? I mean, no, he never did that.
Oh, okay, I will show you. Here we go. This is your prophet. He came to the Jews and he said to them, bring me the Torah. They brought him the Torah. Muhammad, he took his cushion, which he sat on it, showing a lot of respect to the Torah, because he's a hypocrite, trying to convert the Jews to him, to believe him that he's a prophet. And then he put his hand saying, he placed his hand on the Torah, and he said, I believe in thee and him who revealed thee. So if the Torah, if the book of the Jews is full of scientific errors and corruption, this is the book of the Jews thousands of years after Moses. And Muhammad confirmed it. Do you see Muhammad taking oath by it?
But maybe this hadith is not Sahih.
Yeah, this is, it says here, it says Hassan. Hassan mean good. Isn't it the grandson of your prophet? His name is Hassan. Isn't it Hassan mean good?
Yeah.
Okay, so how it's good but it's bad?
Well, maybe the Torah then got corrupted after.
Ah, okay, after that. Okay. All right, my friend. Anyway, thank you very much for calling. And, I'm advising you. I try my best to help you. But anything you say, maybe, you are a person, Mr. Baby, maybe. So as long as we go by maybe, then everything is maybe. Maybe Muhammad is not a prophet. Maybe Muhammad is a fraud. Maybe Muhammad is a prophet. Maybe Muhammad, maybe, we go by maybe. So when you go to the day of judgment, you tell God, well, I thought maybe Muhammad is a prophet. Even this guy, he showed me that Muhammad cannot be a prophet. He's a fraud. He keep lying. He keeps saying stupid things nobody will say. This is after the surgery. Allah, he made a surgery for him. And now Zulqarnain, which is Alexander the Great, is a Muslim. This guy is a pagan. And now the guy, he built Gog and Magog. Do you believe in Gog and Magog?
Yeah.
Where we can find Gog and Magog? Zulqarnain, he built a dam between us and Gog and Magog. Where is this dam?
Only Allah knows.
Only Allah knows. Let me ask you. Maybe this dam is in the, dam land, Maybe. I mean, we have Google. We can see every inch in this earth. You can zoom anywhere in the earth. Every mountain, every field, even your house. And now you are saying to me, maybe? Where we can find this dam which he built made from copper and iron? And how this iron...
On the earth.
Huh?
Oh, yeah. We haven't discovered everything on Earth.
Ah, we did not. Okay. You think you will maybe discover it maybe next year, something like that?
Yeah, we
But
might,
those people, those creatures are not a human like us, and like each one of them, he will have 1,000 baby before he die. So by now they are like billion, trillion. We are just 7 billions. So their numbers will be massive. Each one of them before he die, he will have 1,000 boy from his kind. They are the human. So how they are massive in number like this, which means they multiply so fast. Imagine from the time of Zulqarnain until now, they will become trillion, 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 not billions. And where we can find them?
but why did
Do you know about the Bigfoot?
what?
The Bigfoot.
Like the Bigfoot?
Yeah, the guy, the American, they make videos about him. They see him in the backyard. A guy, he's like big. He have a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Many people, they keep saying there's a Bigfoot, but until now we could not find one. But your prophet is claiming that there's a trillion billion of them, and they are behind the wall, and neither we found the wall, neither we found one of them. We found a bone. We found nobody. And this wall is made from iron and copper.
Well, they could be under the earth somewhere.
I know. I thought about it. In fact, in the other day, I was like, there's a mice, I have good relationship with mice because, as you know, mice, they take revenge. I cannot make them angry. So there's a hole. This mice keep coming. And I said to myself, if I close the hole, he will take revenge. If I leave the hole, he will come to my kitchen. So what I did, I said to him, I put a sign. I says, maybe my neighbor house have better food for you. Since then, he never come back. So what, Mr. Baby? Anything I show you, you say to me, maybe? I mean, where we can find those people?
Okay, wait, let's change the topic now. Let's
change topic to what? I mean, wherever you go, you say to me, maybe.
Yeah, but okay, why did Jesus know the hour?
Why Jesus what?
Why do you not know the hour?
Should I answer you by saying maybe, as you said to me?
Oh, but why didn't he know?
No, you are Mr. Maybe. I mean, I can give you maybe now. See, the Muslims play game. Same time, Jesus, he told you in the same chapter about the hour. He said, when this and this and this and this and this and this happen, I will come. So what Jesus is saying, that only the Father, it's only for the Father. He is the one who will announce the hour, for it is his decision. So Jesus, hold on. Jesus, he did not say maybe. He said, shut up. Only the Father, because the Father have a job. I have a job. I am the judge. Hold on. I am the judge. Who is the judge according to Jesus in the judgment day?
Okay, but
who is the judge? Who is the judge? Answer me. Who is the judge in the judgment day?
Okay, but that part is some parts of the Bible are corrupted.
Listen. Don't tell me some person maybe, Mr. Maybe. So listen. Who is the judge in the judgment day? Is it Jesus?
No.
Why you are saying no? Is that because that will make him God?
Okay, that part I know we're gonna go to.
Who is the judge? Who is the judge in the judgment day as a Muslim for you?
Allah is judge, but okay, when in Bible it says Jesus is judge.
All day. So how you explain to me that your prophet says that the Messiah will come back and he will be the absolute just and judge?
But it doesn't say he will be judge of judgment day.
No, he says this is in the hour. He will be judging the whole earth. Even if he say it's not judgment day yet, but he will be judging the whole earth. He will be judge. It says hakaman muqsitan, imaman hakaman muqsitan, which means absolutely just and justice. You know that nobody can be absolute just, only God. How Jesus have such a qualification?
Well, it's because Jesus is one of the best prophets.
Well, Muhammad, was he judging people? Was Muhammad a person of just?
Yeah, he was like he ruled Mecca and Medina, so he judged sometimes.
Okay, So why Muhammad, he said that he was unjust?
Wait, where?
Here we go. This is your prophet saying that he is unjust and he put a conditions on Allah. Have you ever heard of a man he put conditions on of his prophet? He says, if any of you, I did beat him, I did curse him, I say the F word to his mother and his father, I made condition, I am only a human being, for any person among you, Muslims, who I hurl malediction or invoke curse, or I give him a weapon, make it source of a purity and mercy. Did he say clearly that he is being unjust and he is a cursing person and he is whipping people without justification?
Well, the prophets, they can sin too.
But a second ago you said to me, Jesus, he is just, yeah, but a second ago you told me Muhammad is just, and now he is not just.
Well, he might be just sometimes, and sometimes he sins.
So sometimes he whipped people and he raped them and he killed them and he take their money and he cursed them and he said the F word to them. But then sometimes he's a good guy.
Okay, but Jesus might also do that. Everyone can sin.
No, a second ago you said to me, I said to you, why Jesus absolute judge? You said to me because he is one of the best prophets. You said that, not me. You forgot?
Even the best human, they can still sin.
No. Okay, can you show me one place where Jesus sinned? Never. I just showed you your prophet many places. Even the Quran confirmed that Muhammad is a sinner. Isn't it the Quran? Isn't it the Quran in chapter 19, verse 19 says that Jesus is the Holy Son? Holy. Is your prophet is holy? No. You Muslims practice hypocrisy and you add words to a man who is a sinner. Even the Quran confirms he's a sinner, but yet many of you call him the holy messenger. But the word holy should not be given to anyone save God, for no man is holy save God. But in the case of Jesus, he's holy.
Okay, look, it says pure.
Where it says pure? Where pure? Who is pure?
Like the 19 verse 19. I searched it up. It says.
So Jesus is pure? That's the same. God is pure. There's no human is pure.
No, there in Quran someone else is called pure, I think.
Okay, that is the cousin of Jesus. That is because of Jesus. The family of Jesus, they are pure according to the Quran. The family of Muhammad, they are a bunch of sinners. If you go in the Quran, chapter 48, Khattab translation, the translation you told me, he's lying. He says, I forgive thee faults. Fault will not need to be forgiven, sin only. You change the translator, you will see it is sin. So this guy Khattab is a fraud. What? This is Yusuf Ali. Let's see Khattab. Hold on. Where is Khattab? Khattab. This is Khattab. Is it sin? Forgive your past. The guy he ate the word sin. He ate the word fault. He ate everything. Another one. Look at this. So Allah saying to Muhammad, may Allah forgive your sin. Look at this. How Muslims they fabricate in the translation. Where is the word sin? Why in the other translation the word sin disappear? In Arabic it says dhambaka. What dhanb mean in Arabic? Means sin, correct? I'm sure you heard this word before.
A what word?
Dhanb.
Yeah, I've heard it before.
Yeah, dhanb means sin, correct?
Yes.
So why here translation doesn't say sin? Only in this translation of Biktal says, may Allah, that Allah may forgive thee the sin. So you just told me that Jesus is pure. You told me that the cousin of Jesus is pure. And now you are telling me that your prophet is sinner. So how come everything, and Mary, by the way, is protected from sin. So how come everyone have to do with Jesus is pure, and everyone have to do with Muhammad is filthy? Isn't it the Quran even say, isn't it the Quran made a chapter even about the uncle of your prophet? Isn't it your prophet and his father and his mother, they are pagan and they will go to hell? Isn't it even the uncle of Muhammad, which Muhammad grew in his house? He refused to convert to Islam. So as you see, the whole family of Muhammad are filthy. In the case of Jesus, Jesus is holy. All the ones belong to his name, they are pure. Mary, Zechariah according to the Quran, Yahya according to the Quran.
Well, I don't know how to answer. I think.
All right. All right, my friend. I want you to do me a favor. You are a nice guy. You are welcome. I want you to watch this video again. Check the reference. And my friend, if you follow Muhammad and you stay following Muhammad, you will go to hell. I'm warning you. Muhammad is a fraud. You're a prophet.
No.
You're a prophet, he said, according to your prophet, according to the Muslims too, that he have 16 privilege. One of them, if his eyes fall into a woman, the husband must divorce her so the prophet can F her. Do you think this is a behavior of a prophet?
Where does it say that?
If I show it to you, you will leave Islam? Or you will say to me, maybe?
What?
No, I want to know if you are wasting my time. I mean, whatever I show you, you say to me, maybe. So I know the answer before I show it to you. If I show it to you, do you promise me, if this is true, you will leave Islam?
No.
Okay, then take care. Take a hike. No. No. Even as a prophet, if in Muslim women, stealing women from their husbands, if his eyes fall into a woman, her husband must divorce her. Even if I show him that, he will not leave the garbage of Muhammad. Stay there. I was trying my best to help you. It's up to you. I mean, everything wrong with this guy, to the point even his chest needed surgery. Even he need wisdom surgery. He need faith surgery. I mean, what is left? In the case of Jesus, according to Muhammad, he is born wise. He spoke in the cradle as a prophet of God when he was just 1 minute old. Which means Jesus is born with the wisdom of God. Not only he is called the word of God in the Quran, he himself is the word of wisdom. Muhammad is 40 years old. Still he is talking and acting like a mule. Muhammad needed a plastic surgery, installing dishes of faith and wisdom to adjust his stupidity. How in the world anyone follows someone like Muhammad? A child molester, a caravan rider, a thief. Even his followers accuse him of stealing underwear. And then he spent the day telling his followers stories which nobody will believe unless he is mentally ill. About a lizard who attacked Abraham, he want to burn him. And all the animals in the world, they were trying to stop the lizard from burning Prophet Abraham. True story. I mean, who can deny that? It must be true.
We're told to kill the crows. A crow that also carries diseases and eats dead meat. We're ordered to kill snakes. We're ordered to kill scorpions. And these, by nature, are harmful.
You forget the Jews and the Christians and the Hindus.
Them is justifiable and it's a legitimate thing to do. Likewise with the house lizards. And there is a hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari where the Prophet told us, alayhi salatu wasalam, that when Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, was thrown by his people in the blazing fire, all the creatures of Allah,
all of them,
used to try.
By the way, even bees, mosquitoes, all the creatures of Allah, they come to the rescue of Abraham. He's in the fire now. I thought the reason he's not burned because Allah saved him. It turned to be no, the mosquitoes. We, all the creatures that came to save Abraham. Look at this story. Look how stupid Muhammad is, and look how stupid this religion is. We are talking in the year 2023. People believe that there's a guy was going to be burned, and then all animals from around the earth, they came to rescue him. All the creatures. Pigs, donkeys, lions, tigers, crocodile, elephant, chimpanzee, you name it. Even Joe Biden was there. I mean, that's it. Chimpanzees must be there. Well, I don't know. The sound is down. I don't know why. I will check later about the sound. What's wrong with the sound? Maybe if I do this, I don't know. Let's see. You guys are complaining the sound is not good.
Off the fire, with the exception of the house lizard.
Oh, now it's better, I think.
It used to try to blow so that the fire would grow.
Exactly.
And this shows you that our relationship, not only with people,
Absolutely.
with everything else, is dependent on our belief in Allah Azza wa Jal.
Exactly.
And our allegiance
To Prophet
his religion,
right,
and to the
so
righteous and
we
pious.
are going to be allegiant to stupidity. So now we have to go and kill the Jews, the Christians, the Hindus, the Buddhists, anyone don't believe in Islam, and we have to kill each other too, because there's million sects of Islam. Each one of them, he think he is the correct one, and the other one must die. Islam is a doom to this earth. Is a curse. Is a satanic garbage religion. They can't even leave a little lizard alone. And you know what? I say always, your enemy is your size. If a dog is the enemy of Allah, if a lizard is the enemy of Allah, that is Allah is a lizard too. What kind of God he make his enemy a lizard? What kind of God he make a little creature like the lizard a target for hate? And now we have to kill them. In case you do not know, lizards are very important for us. They are very helpful. If you check with farmers, they will see how much they welcome lizard to be in their farm. Instead of spending a lot of money to kill bugs eating their crops, lizards, they do it for free. And they don't cause any harm to your crops. Zero harm. While if we use chemical, it's going to do harm to us. For later we are going to eat that food. So the enemy of Allah, Mr. Lizard, proving Islam to be stupid. Who look better? Who look smarter here? This lizard or this sheikh? Who is the stupid for you? Lizard? Are you serious? They want to kill the Jews, they want to rape their women, they want to eradicate them, they want to throw them in the sea, they want to kill the Christian, they want to take the Vatican, they want to take Rome, they want to take the White House, they want to take Spain, they want to take Europe, they want to take China, and after they finish everybody, now they will go do jihad again. Okay, what after we finish Lizard, what you would do? Well, they kill each other. Since the time of Muhammad, they are raping and killing each other. Every single war in the Middle East right now is war between Muslims and Muslims, except in Israel. The rest of them, Muslims killing Muslims. In Syria, how many millions killed? Muslim killing Muslims. Turkey, Iraq, Somalia, Yemen, you name it, Libya, Pakistan, Taliban, Afghanistan, Muslims killing Muslims. For this is the religion of the beast. And they are obsessed with stupidity. Literally obsessed with stupidity. There's a Muslim saying, his name is Army or whatever. He says, I want to call you. Text me. Where are you? I don't see any text from you. Stop being like a brave who want to debate me, Army of Islam, whatever your name. Text me. I don't see any text from you in Skype. You're a potato liar. I converted to Christianity from Islam a month back. Thank you. Okay, go to those channels you mentioned to me and ask them the questions. Here we are talking about Islam. Do we have any Muslims? Who is a brave Muslim would like to join us? I have a lizard here waiting for you. Don't you want to do jihad? Yeah, I know Afghanistan. Yeah, did you see 2 million Afghani were kicked out of Pakistan, and then they want everybody to go to Europe. Muslims don't welcome Muslims. 2 million Afghani, they kick them out. The same in Indonesia. They kicked out the Muslims from Myanmar. Hey, give me your Skype, Mr. Islamic Army. You are a potato. I don't see any text from you. You are a liar. Give me your Skype. I will call you right now. Post your Skype in the chat. Post it. Liar. Explain to me when Muslims say Jesus is Muslim. Well, those Muslims, as you see, even Alexander the Great, who used to have 6 parties, he's a Muslim. Anyone is famous Muslim, they add him to the list. It's just to make Mohammed, to make many people accept. So those who you know, believe Alexander the Great is an amazing person, they will like Muhammad. A guy, his name is Al-Khudr, a fictional story from the Persians' days. A guy who drank from the fountain of youth. Suddenly, he is a Muslim. Cats are Muslims. Dogs convert to Islam. Lizards convert to Islam. All right, hold on. All right, let me search your name. Give me a minute. Well, I could not find any name with such a thing. Here we go. I just search the name you gave me. I click enter in front of your eyes. It says there's nothing found. Your name cannot be found. And I think your name should not be like this. It should be like this. This is a correct way to share the link, to share your account. See, this is my account. It should be like this. You got your first Bible, which verse to read? You read the whole Bible. The Bible is not a verse, my friend. If you get the Bible, when you read a verse, there's nothing called is the best verse. All verses are best. This is not food. There's a best dish, there's a worst dish. Where is your account? Brave Army. Give it to me. This is how your account should look like. Waiting for you. So as you see, this this cult is very weird, is very stupid, is very dummy. And who in the world want to believe in such a garbage? Unless he is mentally ill. Like the guy, we keep showing him disaster after disaster, and he says maybe. Anything maybe. If it's in the Quran, it's sahih, it's correct. It's correct. I believe in it. Right? I am Abdul Hamid, you call me. No, if you call me, people will hear you. Stop lying. How the guy before you, he called me and you could not? Text me, let us see. Potato. The guy with the red phone from yesterday? No, this guy, his name is not, let us see, I think his name is still here. No, I don't think so. Anyway, if he is serious, he can text us. That one, his name is Abdul. I remember the name correctly. Remember? Abdul. He called himself Abdul. Any Muhammadan? Mayday, mayday. Who is a Muslim would like to call me and he is ready to leave Islam? Or he think Islam is a good religion? Beside the lizard who challenged Allah and he wanted to burn his prophet. Look at this lizard. Those stories of Muhammad is a clear evidence that he is mentally ill and he is stupid and he have zero education and he is not wise and he is so dummy, and whoever believe in him is an idiot. Prove me wrong. A lizard who wanna burn Abraham. You can tell actually from his face he's a criminal, even though he's a plastic. This is your God. If you could not win war against a lizard, how you will win against Israel? Lizard. Are you sure? You send me a message, Abdul Hamid? No, you are a liar again. Just to block him, he's just an idiot. Anyone can click at my account and he will find my account right away. So you have no excuse. And The one in the is the same account, correct account. So you have no excuse. You're a fraud, my friend. Just get out of here, liar, like you're a prophet. Do we have any Muhammadan? He want to join jihad against lizard? How you are going to sleep today, Muslims? You know the story about the lizard. How dare you? He claimed he called me yesterday. Well, I don't see. I mean, if he called me yesterday, then he should be here. I have all the names here. And why I took you yesterday and you did not... if you were able to call me yesterday, why you cannot call me now? Any Muhammadan would like to join us? Mayday, mayday. Anyone? I will leave if you can explain what Sahih Bukhari 5080 means. You can leave. Are you making a threat to me now? Who cares if you leave or you stay? Guys, I will leave. Well, Muhammad is a pervert. He met one of his men, you know. His name is Jabir. This is what the hadith you are talking about. I remember it. Muhammad, he told him, did you marry a virgin or a widow? He said, a widow. He said, why? Why? Why you don't go and find a virgin, a little child, so she can sport with you and you can sport with her? You idiot. So here you see the devil's side of Muhammad. The man is happily married. He has not complained. He never said anything. Muhammad do not even know if he's married yet or not. He have no idea if he's married. He's asking him, hey, Jabir, what are you in a rush? Did you get married or something? He said, yeah. Said, what? Did you marry a little child? A little child. You see, in the Muslim translation, they say virgin. But the reality, it's about a child. And how you can prove that? You go to Sahih Muslim, hadith number 7150. It says, let me find the hadith. Here we go. And by the way, you can leave. You know, the one who threatened me, you will leave. I'm not explaining to you. I don't care if you stay or you leave. This is the last of my worry. How we know that he's talking about a child? Read the answer with me. The answer, when he said to him, why do not marry a little girl? The answer said, and look what he said, look how disgusting Muhammad is. Why don't you marry? This is a Muslim translation. Why did you not marry a virgin whom you would have plead with you? Plead. This guy is a pedophile. Pedophile, they enjoy, they have special sexual desire with the children to play with them. And she would play with her. I said to him, Allah Messenger, my father died. He fell as a martyr, and I have a small sisters to look after. So I did not like the idea I should marry a woman. I did not like the idea I should marry a woman is like them. The translation is false. A girl, she is like them. So what is the age? He wanted a woman, not a little girl. He wanted a woman, she can take care of those little girls, the orphans. So the coward Muhammad is encouraging the man to marry a child. This is a prophet of God. Read this one with me. This is Al-Bukhari 2967. He said, my father died and I have some young sisters, صغار. So I felt it's not proper that I should marry a young girl like them. They are orphans. To teach them manner, nor who would neither teach them manner nor serve them. They need the women to cook for them. You need the women to do laundry for them, not a child like them. So what Muhammad is encouraging people to do? He's going after a married man who is not complaining. Remember, he did not say anything. Muhammad did not even know he is married or not. And he is encouraging this poor man to go and divorce his wife and get a child in the age of his daughters or sisters. The man, he is more dignity and smarter than Muhammad. He says, well, I did not find it proper to go and find a little girl like them. Like who? Like who? Like them. Neither can teach them manner nor serve them. Is that how a good man he do? He see a man in the street, he advise him to go and find a little girl? Can you believe it? Hey, Muslim ladies, do you approve a man? He come to your husband and he said to him, hey, why you don't go and marry a child? You know, she is young to play with her. You know? Is that what the prophet of God he do? A true prophet of God, he would say to him, well, good for you. You are married a widow. Good, maybe, you know, and especially her, you know, maybe her husband is a murderer, is a Muslim. A virgin woman, Muslims, they fight over her. And if this is the case, why Muhammad marry a woman? She is 15 years older than him because of her money. And this is telling you that Muhammad, when he married Khadija, he never liked her. He liked little children's. Correct? Because this is telling you what Muhammad he liked. So why Muhammad married Khadija? Because she was the boss and she was the most rich person in Quraysh. Do you see it? This is telling you that Muhammad is a pedophile to the bones. Not only he married Aisha at the age of 6. This is what he liked. This is his desire. If I advise you, if I say to you, why you don't go and marry a child? So you, and what is the reason? To play with her. Look at the reason, guys. Look at the reason to marry a young little girl. So she will sport with you. So she will play with you and you play with her. Play? Play? We men, we marry children so we can play with them. So a man will favor a growing mature woman will favor a child so we can play with them? You know, in the sex world, there's a lot of fantasy. Every human being, he have a fantasy. And the fantasy of Muhammad is what? Little children's. It's in the front of you. If this is alone is enough, not enough for you to prove that Muhammad is a fraud. What is not a fraud then? Who of you will respect a man would do that? And who of you women, they will marry a Muslim after this? By the way, there's many women, they are so desperate for any husband, anything, just, you know, just husband in the bed. Here he go, we find different one. They live like a goat, they die like a goat. Any man, just any man. They want any man in the bed. A true man of God, he don't do that. What Jesus taught us, the man, he have to love his wife the same as Christ, he loved the church. The same as what? As Christ, he loved the church. He made the women equal to the church. He loved the wife. Not he used the wife, sleep with the wife. He loved her. Love come first. Those people have no love. They just have lust. They just want to sleep around. It doesn't matter who. Even if it's a child. Let us see, maybe we have another Muslim. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, my friend, you are live on air. Go ahead. Are you a Muslim?
Hello.
I hear you.
Hello.
Oh boy. I hear you. All right. Well, his mic is not working. I mean, his mic is working, but he can't hear me. Fix your microphone, Mr. Buri. I get it, Menk, for testing my knowledge. I do not need your test, my friend. I'm the last one to test my knowledge. There's a reason Muslims don't dare to debate me. That is my knowledge. If I am someone who knows nothing, they will be lined up. You know what lined up? All those who go and debate in different channel, if they come here, they come only once. They never do it again. Never. Because it's a big mistake. Don't you see Nader Ahmed lining up just to want to debate everybody? He don't dare to come. Last time he came, I smacked him many times before. Last time he came, that's it. The guy, he took a hike. Do you remember the guy who he called himself Perfect Dawah? I made him perfect shish kebab. Another channel without saying who. He is doing fine there. He survived. With the Christian Prince, he is a perfect shish kebab. Go watch the video. Name anyone we want. In there, they can survive. Here, we make them, we smash them, we fry them, we throw them inside the oil and we fry them alive. This is why the only one who will call me from the Muslims is the one who will not or who don't want to lose his career. Even the coward Mimi Hijab, I am the one who called him. He hung up on me many times and he did not let me ask questions. Did you say that? Hang up on him. Coward, he was so much intimidated. 5, 6 Muslims around him. Plus his girlfriend Dawah next to him. They do not, and they don't dare to debate me. They go, they ambush apostate prophet. What about you ambush me? Do you even dare? Why women cannot be leaders in the church? Well, why women, they should be leaders in the church anyway? There's no men. Leading is about going out, doing missionary work, teaching, going to villages, doing funerals. So this is the very hard job the man he should do. However, who said to you that women, they have no place in the church? We have in the church women who teach, women who preach, and we have even in the Old Testament women who they are prophet and even judges. It is in Islam who women are nothing. In Christianity, women have a very special place, and the proof of that, Mary. Who is better than Mary? Is there anyone better than Mary? The Lord himself, he chosen to be born from a woman. He is the son of no man. So don't tell me why women cannot be leader in Christianity. Look who is talking. Don't you go and see women are preachers, women are teaching. But for us, the right thing is that women should preach to women. Because they can talk about things they don't want to talk about men. Women, they have their issues, they have their secrets, they have personal issues. They will be shy to speak about it to someone strange. So when people, they come to you with false excuses is debunked in a second. Let us call this guy again.
Hello.
Yes, my friend, you are live on air. Do you hear me?
कैसे हो भाई?
You hear me?
Hello. Yes.
All right, you are a Muslim?
Yes. Yes.
Can you mute YouTube, please? I hear myself twice.
It is muted.
No, I hear myself twice.
I don't know why you hear yourself twice. It's muted.
Are you going live in YouTube in somewhere else and it's open?
No.
Well, I hear myself.
Because you're on speaker.
Can't you use a headset?
Okay. I'll call you.
No,
back.
hold on.
Let me get...
Okay, yeah, you do that. Okay, it's better if you use a headset. All right. Here we go, another idiot. He is spreading rumors about Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa, she stole money. Get out of here. And you are the one who was charging the account, right? The woman, she left Europe and all the glory of Europe to live between the poor. She sleep in the floor, and now you are in a bad mouth. How, you idiot coward? Shame on you. Do even she need money? A woman in her age, what she would do with it? She will spend it over the boyfriend in the villa? Stupid people. Disgusting, low class. They wanna, I mean, they slander everybody, the dead, the alive. Nothing is safe from their tongue, which is the tongue of the devil. She spent her life, who wanna go and live there in the slum in India? She live in the slum. Somebody told you she have a nice car. She never have a car. She never had a house. This is why people loved her. Idiot. Anyway, we are waiting for this gentleman to fix his headset, and we will call him. I hope it's not going to take long. Yeah, there is a kind of people, you know, they have to badmouth everybody. It's enough that this woman, she brought a lot of people to the faith to believe in Jesus. She did a job of 1 million men. We are waiting for this Abdul. Yeah, I know, it's okay. I mean, what you can do. But for us, we will not allow such a thing in our present. All right. Well, look like this guy will take him forever to fix it. And really, I'm not going to wait longer. It's already getting late. Did we have a good time? I hope so. Remember one thing. The Lord, he said, from their fruits you shall know them. All of us, we are sinners. But when somebody claims to be a prophet of God, at least say something good. At least, even if you fake it, you know, like fake it to be good. But you go around teaching men not to marry a widow woman, but to marry a child, and the purpose is what? To play with her. Obviously, you are a scumbag. From their fruits you shall know them, not from their speeches. There's many people are so good in speeches. They have fantastic ability and skills of languages and speeches, and they convince you with things. They call them salesmen. But the prophet of God, he do what prophet of God do. And he don't promote wickedness. Even if we do sometime wickedness, we will never dare to promote it. The second you promote wickedness, you are officially a wickedness vendor, which means you are the devil. So I hope we have a good time. Tomorrow I'm going to go, I have a video to post, or I will make a video about it. I'm working on it. Or I will go live, I'm not sure. So until I see you tomorrow, I hope you have a great time with your family. It is Sunday time for many of you. It is Monday for many. And I hope that we will meet again. And the Lord will provide us with more Muslims to leave Islam and to see the truth, and the truth will set you free. God is good, so is Jesus. I mean to that. See ya.